Greetings, family. This is Bomani Tyehimba and Kala Genesis. Welcome to Pan-African News, as we're going to get into it tonight. And also, our connection is pan-Africanism towards nationhood, building a global Black business pipeline. Yes, with my good brother here. Yes, Kala Genesis. Greetings, brother. Greetings, and what a wonderful day. What a wonderful day.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully,
beautiful
my
day in
background is not
paradise.
too colorful.
Beautiful day in paradise, brother.
Yes, yes, we are in paradise. I mean, we're in paradise. We're here building the connection from Black America to Black Africa, and we're keeping it strong. Yeah.
Yep.
And tonight we're gonna get into it, family. Like we always get into it on some very important subjects. You know, we always talk about that connection. But tonight's topic is Black America: the story of excellence and oppression, excellence and oppression. Family, key thing. Afrikstan analysis with Kala Genesis and Bomani Tyehimba. So family, that's what we always do. And you see the BAIO logo above. And as we switch logos and throughout the time frame, it's just building that energy and that connection. Just like that thumbnail you see right there with all of our logos and things. And me and my brother Kala, letting you know that family, we're here to take it to another level. And we're here to, for us to really build a serious bridge. But at the same time, too, we're here to just let people know that while you're here in America, get your business going, get organized, get the energy going. And then for those of you who are going back and forth to Africa, keep setting things up. And we're going to do this, you know what I mean? And so far, no one has been able to join us on any call and literally prove to us that our science, our theory, our practicality of pan-Africanism towards nationhood is any kind of failure, because we have drawn the dots and the connection. We have shown the vehicle moving forward and connected, and then we live that practical life, and that's the most important thing about what we do, Khaled. You know what I'm saying? We live a life about business, Black excellence, organizing, connecting with our people. On our mindset. So family, one thing I'm gonna say, if anyone want to ever join us, I mean, understand that the life that we talk about is the life that we live. Our commitment is there. So if you want to ever debate us and challenge us and question us, make sure that you're doing something progressive for our people. Other than that, it becomes a useless conversation and things like that. And as we move forward strong, what I want to do, family, I want to share our beautiful Africa for the Africans flyer. Now, that is an incredible schedule right there, family. And this is what we do. We take it to the next level. We have 7 incredible countries that we're taking people to from 2022 to 2024. And these countries include Ghana, Senegal, the Gambia, Rwanda, Tanzania, South Africa, and Liberia. And this is a part of that connection that we're talking about, family. In order for us to build a strong bridge and a strong connection, you know what I mean? We need to use the foundation from here in this country. You know, you know, transform your living room, your one of your rooms into an operation where you can do business, where you can make things happen. So while we're here going back and forth to Africa, we can consistently be in the same mindset of doing business. So family, all these details you can check out on our website at africafortheafricans.org. It's something that and the link that's going across the screen, these are all the countries that we go to. That's my phone number, email address, and website. So you can text me, you can email me, and you can check out the details on our website. That way you're clear about it. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me, family. I'm here to talk with people throughout the week because we're serious about this. And I've showed my commitment for my 18 straight years traveling to Africa and 16 straight years doing business on the African continent and traveling to 10 countries. And then now I got 2 new countries that we're exploring to the highest level, which is Rwanda, July 2023, and Liberia, March 2024. And Kala knows a whole lot about Liberia. And what I'm going to do is switch the Liberia flyer. And we're going to talk to our brother Kala, let him just share some stuff about Liberia. And then we're going to get into our topic and our conversation. Right, good old Liberia. So family, we had to do a little switch around with the schedule, but this give us more than enough time to do all the things we need to do. So, Brother Kala, what
Yes.
you think about the schedule right here for
Oh,
Liberia?
perfect. Give us plenty of time to build it up, because I do believe this is going to be like the watershed moment in our history, this the tour to Liberia. Because if, like I said, not only that, right, it's going to give other people from around the continent, around the world, to join us in Liberia. It's going to be a permanent thing. We hope that's not just this tour, but several other people that want to do a tour to Liberia could come to Brother Bomani and myself and help us organize your trip to Liberia with a group. If you got 20 people that want to go, whatever like that, we could organize it, whatever, after this first tour is successful. After that, tours to Liberia, you want to do it, we could organize it and everything, because we'll have a definite itinerary set up and everything. We can add and switch things out. But the main thing is, if people know that Black America is coming and interested in Liberia, which they are right now, then what's going to happen is major people on the African continent that want to invest with us and do business with us is going to meet us there. We do need that one place in Africa that we can operate freely. We don't have to basically partner with a local or get anybody permission to hold our hands to do every little thing. Liberia is one of those countries that we can basically set up shop to pipeline through the rest of the continent. So that's a win-win situation. You can open up an office there and everything, and basically have relationships with several different African governments from the government in Liberia. You could talk and say, I need to talk to the Zambian council. I need to talk to the Kenyan consulate, and you could basically use Liberia. You don't have to go all the way over to Tanzania. You have that one country close by that we have historical relationships with to access the whole entire continent. They speak English. They basically acclimate to Black American culture and way of thinking. And so therefore we have that country. That's why Liberia is so important. My personal opinion is, I don't think you can just jump into cultures that we're so far removed from and think you're going to thrive right. That's why we're having these problems in places like the Gambia and other places, even in Ghana and Nigeria, because the cultural difference. Liberia gives us that ease back into the continent, from a position of power, because we do have a stake in Liberia. Everybody knows. I was reminded that my friend Naya, he's in Liberia right now. I thought he was. Remember, he did tell me he was going, but I thought he was joking. He's in Liberia right now, and he brought a whole bunch of shipping containers that hadn't arrived yet, but he's doing serious business in Liberia. He has a farm and everything like that, and so he's bringing a lot of stuff. He started his limousine. He has his security business in Liberia that he's setting up and everything. And so the bottom line is, on Liberia, on the ground, we have lawyers, we have all kinds of people that's connected with us, And so, and also he tells me there's a lot of Black African Americans who are going over there on their own, setting up businesses like it's nothing, So there's no real difference between a Black American or African American and Liberian. Nobody can tell the difference, because there's so many Liberians in America, nobody can tell who's Black African American and who's Liberian, So you go over there, you're just another Black person trying to get property. You're a Black, you can want property and land in there in Liberia, no questions asked. That's in the Constitution. So Liberia, connecting with Liberia, will definitely give Black people in America a foothold on the continent to engage countries like Angola, Zambia, from a position of power. I do think in the future in this Pan Africa, we haven't learned anything. We cannot launch a Pan Africa directly to Africa. We need a middle country. We need a middle country. When things get hot in America, we could be, okay, we're in Liberia where you can't touch us. We need our own place where we could have our offshore banking and stuff like this, logistics for the continent, And so, therefore, while we're sitting in America doing our American thing, we got this pipeline on the continent that's not only not just the rest of Africa, but like through Liberia and these countries, we can engage the rest of the world, Who knows who our friends are going to be in the future, We don't know who our friends are going to be. We're in captivity. We don't know. Like I said, it's the worst thing to not have friends, but it's the worst thing not having any enemies, Right now, Black America has no friends and it has no enemies because we don't exist. We're powerless. We don't affect nobody. Nobody's our friend. Nobody's our enemy because we can't help nobody and we can't harm nobody. This is a quagmire we find ourselves in after all these years. We got this beautiful, intelligent race of people, the African American, the Black American, but he has no political power. Another race of people deciding his future. Our future and thing is tethered to another race of people. Do we want to go down a rabbit hole of being at war with Putin? No. What did Putin never do to us? Nothing. Do we want to be at war with China? No, we don't care about that. Why are we basically at war? Why are we as so-called U.S. citizens got to bear the brunt of everything America does? What does America do for people that look like us in the world? Nothing, right? But America has money to give $85 billion to Ukraine, at a way, and they're taking the money and looting it. That's what I'm hearing. These guys, that money they're taking, the Ukrainians are boat and ship. They're in freaking Dubai and all these other places with your taxpayer money that you're going to be paying for. Do we agree with all this? No. So we can't do anything because we overestimate the importance of being a so-called American. Now we're living in a more global world, and we have to start thinking globally. Where do we think? The Jews in America, right? The white supremacists and the nationalists have convinced you to hate the Jews in America, right? And Jews have a lot of dirt on their hands, and we have an issue with them. But our problem with the Jews are not the problem of the white supremacists and Jews. The white supremacists and the Jews say all Jews are Zionists. They put the state of Israel first. Jewish people pretend to be Republicans, but they're really about Israel. Jewish people pretend to be Democrats, but they all about Israel. They basically go and smart enough to work both parties, both sides of the aisle, to get stuff done. Why? Because they got a single focus: the state of Israel, Zionism, and the Jewish homeland. Black America, we're on the Democrat side because we don't have any homeland. We don't have anything tangible, anything to rally behind besides our oppression. Black oppression has been the rally cry among Black people for generations. Oh, we're all oppressed and everything. And so therefore, we look for the party that's going to tell us, yeah, you're oppressed, but we're here to help you out. And that's the Democrats. Do you understand where Kala Genesis is going with this? Do you understand that we're a bunch of clowns? We're a bunch of buffoons and whatnot, and we're the laughing stock? And can you blame Black immigrants for not wanting anything to do with us? How stupid we look on the world stage? You got this powerful group of people, 45, 50 million people, generate $1.4 trillion, got almanacs, produce every kind of invention known to man and everything like that. But we act so helpless and so weak. And when it comes to politics in our life, how communities are being torn apart and everything, we can't come together and build and everything because we let the one side of Black America dominate and speak for us. We have Black America A and we got Black America X. Okay, we're going to talk about that tonight. The Black America of excellence and the Black America of foolishness, ratchetness, fuckery, and everything. And it's not about income level. It's not about things because both sides basically you got people who are part of Black America X. Those are the Black people in the entertainment industry, the Black people who push drugs, Black people who push dysfunction and all the stuff like that, and ratchetness and everything, who don't have any love for their heritage and everything. Then Black America A, you go into their house and whatnot, you see African art. You'll see them come from all different types of Black American background. Some are Christians, some are Muslims, some are Seventh-day Adventists, some are all these things. Some are nationalists, some are Black conservatives, some are Black liberals and everything. But you go into their house, you'll see a common thing. You'll see a set of encyclopedias, right? You'll see that there are people that are connected to their heritage and their roots and everything. They could tell you about certain things in Black America. They'll know about certain key people in Black America. They'll know about certain traditions in Black America that we all have. That's Black America, right? And then there's Black America X. These people don't know anything about our heritage. They don't know anything about their culture, everything. They think everything Black America is a reflection of white people and everything. They've never risen in Black families. Black America is a Black family. Families pass down traditions, family reunions, folklores, and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about tonight. That kept us together as a people. We are a people. But then the Black America X, right? They're ratchet. They don't know. They don't think we're a people. They easily fall into stupid stuff like we was already here. We was Native American. We're ADOS FBA and all this kind of nonsense and everything. We're thugs. We're ratchet. I'm a boss bitch and everything. All this friggin' foolishness and everything on Black America X has to go. We're the silent majority. We're the Black people that could build families. We're the Black America that could build institutions. We're the Black people that can connect to our homeland in a legitimate way. We have a right to connect to our homeland and everything. We're bringing Black excellence home to Black America and to Africa, and that's what this topic of this show is going to be about tonight. Black America and Black America X. You know, Black America of the nation. The Black America is the nation, and you got Black America X. And Black America X doesn't want to do anything. They're in a perpetual state of poverty, poverty of the mind. They're wasteful. They're materialistic. They're all these things that you see in the media and everything. They push on other. They're deviants. They're all these other things that we see in the media and everything. That's Black America X, and that's what the media is trying to show as Black America. You know, all right, brother Mike. I just went in. So you want to add on to that before I go on? I'm gonna dig in. What do you think about what I just said?
Yes, brother. I mean, it's on point, man. You know, you're talking about two, you know, and I was trying to come up with the right little connections. You know, I use excellence and oppression. You know, but I appreciate how you explain, you know, the opposite side of the excellence, because there's so many different aspects of that. And your family. So, you know, it's like we're trying to let people know that there's no one aspects of people in the Americas. And you know, what we're really looking to do is connect more for us. That's about our business. You know, since we're doing these shows and, you know, on YouTube, traveling, moving around, and you just live in that practical world. And then you live in a world where, you know, while you're working, you know, every time you pop up, you just see people on YouTube doing videos. I'm like, yo, how do you find all this time to do all this stuff? Don't you have a career or business and things? And I realized people are trying to make YouTube into their career and business. And to the point where, you know, they do it by any means, by, you know, they're just chasing, you know, like ambulance chasing and things like that. But we're not here to do that. We're not here to, you know, to be reactionaries. We're here to lay a foundation of this, you know, letting people know that, you know, this is serious, you know, when we talk about pan-Africanism towards nationhood. But yes, brother, you know, there's a energy of Black excellence that won't mess with us in the pan-African world, based on the fact that we have about 90% of these fake pan-Africanists and fake all these other titles, and people don't really take some of us serious, even the ones of us are serious. So we're trying to distinguish this difference, family, about the excellence, the ones of us that's trying to really build, and then the ones of us that's literally just more under the destructive oppression side, oppressing their own brothers and sisters, and just laying a foundation of this chaos. So, family, you know, where there's villains, you gotta have superheroes. So that's where you have right here, you know, Bomani and Kala, you know, the dynamic duo, the professional businessmen.
Yeah, like I said, like you said later, I wrote it like this. It's people, like I said, when I looked at it years ago, right? And I always said, why is it that that people don't take Pan Africanism to this day, right? They don't take Pan Africanism seriously as a viable. You will never see Pan Africanism on any major platforms in Black America as a solution towards what we should do. You know, they'll, even though Pan African right now, when we talk about building a global pipeline and everything like that, long term, right? Long term. Imagine 10 years ago, right? When when we came out, people got on code. Where would we be right now? Imagine when we formed the BAIO, where we had like people say that's the future, right? Imagine where we'd be at right now, right? But what we do is this, right? We have two Black Americas, Black America A and Black America X, right? Black America X is just basically always looking for wherever there's there's not a crisis or a problem they don't love or they don't identify with. You know, somebody comes up with a crisis, it is, you know. And so, therefore, I always ask, why is it that people don't take Pan African seriously? Why? Because Pan African was the one thing that was left behind, right? So everybody could just latch on to this movement, right? Call themselves the Prince of Pan Africanism and everything like that, because nobody was like, okay, that's something I could do and not, you know, because nobody else did it. And so when people look at this stuff and they're like, you know, wow, man, you know, and they look at the foolishness, the unserious, unprofessionality and everything, they're like, that's a joke. That's something you see online. It's a joke. I'm not gonna get involved with that, right?
Right, serious.
That's not like. But what they don't understand is, right, when you are doing something, right, you have to be professional. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to know history. You have to be reasonable and practical in what you're talking about and everything. And so, therefore, it's not about ego. It's not about trying to build a name for yourself. It's not like that. It's all about building. And when people look at you, as you say, as Pan Africans, like, what is your end game, right? We in the BAO say our end game is we want a territory, a nation of our own. As far fetched as that is, right? We let people know that's achievable. Why? Because look what people said. No, we don't need a nation of our own. Okay, we got Barack Obama in the White House, right? And we came right around the time when Barack Obama was in office, right? Everybody's like, "Oh, we achieved. We got a black man in the White House." I said that doesn't mean anything. We need to start building. The black man in America needs a nation of his own on the continent of his ancestors, right? And I said, look, at the same time, you could have a black man in the White House. We don't care about that, right? Also, you could end racism, and we've never said that the Pan African is about fighting racism or white supremacy and stuff like that, because we know we're never going to fight that unless you have a nation psychologically, have a nation of your own that you could build. Then there's some people who believe the white man is eternally powerful, and a lot of white people say, "I didn't know I had this much power." It's because the black people were addicted to being oppressed. If we can go to Mars, right? Right? Look at little tiny Martians, right, and feel oppressed by them. You know, I went to Mars, man, and they was oppressing us. So therefore, the idea of what people call Pan African or Black national and everything, it's always historically been rooted in being oppressed, being marginalized, right? Or being rejected. America doesn't want you and everything, so I'm black, the black, bliggity black, right? And then when Africans come over here and they get along and they succeed in America, right? What does that do for your argument, right? That America is this racist country, is irredeemable, right? And so you got to answer for that. That's Africans. And so therefore, the white man's pulling our card. He knows that okay, you go to Pan Africanism because it's always like a rejection of America and everything like that. You get into like, but when they start bringing real Africans over here, right, and they're succeeding, right, that discredits your argument. So I said, you know something, our argument is not about whether America is good or not. We're trying to say that the specific descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, right, deserves the opportunity to either be in America, right, or have a nation of their own. That's justice, right? Black people in America were taken to America by force, okay? And so therefore you cannot reconcile that, right? It's like if you know that your father, the man who raised you your whole life, was not your father, and he kidnapped you and everything like that. You can't, no matter what he did to you, right? That simple fact is always going to be a problem. Okay? The African American, right, are a captive nation, a captive people, right? I don't care how many Africans they bring over here and make the Fortune 500 list, whatever like that. That still remains that there's a group of people in America who never asked to be brought here. Okay, and to solve that problem, right? Those people need to have the thing of a land of their own, same way the Jews have. The Jews say, yeah, okay, we was dispersed all over the world, but we have a state, a place in the world that's our sanctuary. Okay, that's our focal point. I say the African American, right, has to have the same thing that everybody else have. It has nothing to do with how many bringing if whoever gets elected in the White House. I don't care about a black woman being on the Supreme Court. That does not stick with the fact that the highest level that we could ever achieve as black people is to be able to govern ourselves and rule over ourselves in a nation of our own. That's the highest elevation we can do. Anything less than that is basically letting our ancestors down, and it's letting God down. Because God don't. When you sit here and talk about racism, white supremacy, and everything, okay, well let's talk about building a nation wrong. No, no, no. We have too much into this country and everything. We have too much in this country. Well, then basically you're talking out two sides of your mouth. You know, I'm saying that the best thing to do for our people, our future, our people, is to have a homeland on the African continent for our people and the diaspora that want to return and build. That's justice. That's justice. So if people want to leave America and say, look, I want to build a nation of my own, I want to be part of a homeland, they should be able to do that. If people want to stay in America, right, and say, you know something, I think I'm gonna stick here and everything. I think I could wait it out and everything. We could build here and everything. That's two. But right now, what we're doing neither. We're not integrating into American society, right? And we're rejecting African development, African future. So you don't have no African future, and you're saying I'm tired of America, racism, white supremacy, everything. And so what's happening is Black America is slowly dying, okay, from itself. So you don't want to be part of Africa, right? But yet you still don't want to be part of America. So you're in this permanent quagmire. Every time I hear people like Jason Black, right? You talk about the liberals and Democrats every day. But on the other hand, Jason Black and these people talk about DeSanto. Oh, he's a racist. So what is it? If you believe DeSantos and Republicans and Trump are racist, right? Then leave Black people alone when they vote for Democrats. Okay? They talk out two sides of the mouth. Black people like dizzy. What are we like? This is why we're here tonight, to give you direction. Okay?
Yeah, brother. Also, you know, some of these people that are talking, you know, it's like they never show their face, their life, what they're into, what they're doing for Black people, how they're helping the movement going along, and things like that. All they do is like talk. It's not acceptable. That's what I'm telling people. Like, stop listening to people who call themselves all these titles, like you mentioned earlier, call themselves all these Pan-African titles and things like that. Is like, what are their works? What are their credibility? You know what I mean? Don't say, oh, this person got all these degrees or they speak nice and things like that. You know, these are not credentials to get into the game of Pan-Africanism towards nationhood. You know what I'm saying? Which is an active stream of us going somewhere and, with an end goal. And so, I've heard about that guy before,
Jason Black.
I just call him JB. You know what I'm saying?
Professor Black too. Both the same person.
And PB. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Has anyone ever seen how these guys look?
No.
There you go, straight agents automatically.
Yeah. And the bottom line is, and you ask yourself this: oh, racial. Look, white people are white people. They're gonna look out for themselves, right? I'm gonna tell a little parable right here, right?
Before you go on, Kala, why aren't you hiding your face? Why aren't you and I hiding our face?
Because I love myself, and I love the way I look, and I'm proud. And I hope that somebody I know sees me. I saw you, but I don't give a god, because I don't give a damn. I believe in this. I rep this. I have nothing to hide. This is not just what I believe. This is what I was born for.
Absolutely. And people like myself, they ask me, why do you walk into a world of fire and things like that? I said, because the ancestors is guiding me to get there. This is not a joke. This is not amateur hour. Family, you have to be fully equipped and fully educated and ready for doing this business and ready to take things to another level. You have to have experience, and you have to have a whole lot more. And it's not just something that, anyone can just come on here and then talk about how we can build something and make moves. Now, we just talk about the two people that we talk about, which is maybe one and the same, maybe using different accents and things like that. And it's like, okay, this is my actual business place of business where people actually come, they meet. We actually talk about the land and business investments that we do in Ghana and all the tours that we do in this, technology and business services. I usually have people here, and I'm sitting down with them, helping them start their business, set their business from building their website to getting their incorporation, and then just getting things going with them, whether they're here physically and things like that. So you're telling people like, yo, what is really going on, man? Is this like a world of competition to out-talk each other? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm an athlete. You know what I'm saying? You got my trophies up there. When I was in my elevation of sports in high school and in the military, I don't remember anything being about talking. I do remember people talking how they're gonna cook me or smoke me in a race, and then I did the Usain Bolt on them.
Yeah.
And things like that. So I'm telling people, like, it's like, okay, you talk that talk, but it's like, can you really back it up and live that life? Do you get up every day and spend money with Black people and support Black-owned business? Do you have an energy of anything connected to Blackness, or is it just your mouth that's Black running?
Yeah.
Talk to me, brother, man. Give me some hope.
Yeah. Like I said, these people, like I said, you got these people who take donations in the millions and say they're gonna build this, and say, we don't mention no names, whatever they,
they know what we're talking about.
And they basically raise money and everything like that. and it's all psychobabble and everything. Like I said, this is Black America X. See, Black America X is just a bunch of confused people, the miserable people, you know, and everything. And so, therefore, they don't understand that, you know. See, once you understand who we're dealing with, right? Tariq and the other people know that the black people in America are fucked up. When the black people say, you know something, we're voting for Democrats, they fight against that. Oh, if Democrats haven't did shit for you, right? Donald Trump comes around, right, and says, you know something, you haven't been. What do you have to lose? Oh, Trump's a racist. But like, so
Yeah,
basically, I'll say, okay, what about forming all this money you taking in for a museum? How come you guys don't have a political party? Oh, that's no use, man, because black political party. You got 45 million people. You could sway any election, right, in a country nationwide. 45 million people organized on a political. You have no black. There's no black political party. Why isn't that? You know, because these people are not serious. They are
right.
the only time they talk is every couple of years when there's an election, and they get on the radio, they get on the internet and start talking loud, saying nothing, right? And the whole time, those of us who believe in nationhood are just keep it doing what we're doing. They're like, we haven't been swayed off and everything. We don't give a damn who's in the White House. We keep doing what we're doing, right? Towards nationhood. You know, well, I don't give a damn who
Towards
Trump's
nationhood.
in nationhood and everything. We're like this. And never tell people who to vote for. If you like Donald Trump, go vote for him. If you like the Republicans, go vote for him. You like the Democrats, go vote for him. If you like the Green Party, go vote for him, because it's not going to stop or sway anything we're doing, because we're dead set serious about this idea of having a nation of our own, building Africa and building a global pipeline for black people and everything. Unless we have that, none of this stuff really matters, who we elect in office and everything. I can't stress to you enough, right? Black America over a generation, we've lost everything from Ebony Magazine, Essence Magazine, all these things that held us together as a people, right? So now we have Black America who don't know who we are. And I say like this, now the last election, right? Did they ever, we talk about Black excellence, right? Now, did Joe Biden go to Umar semi articulate? Did he sit down with somebody like Umar and ask him his advice? No. Did he sit down with Dr. Boyce Watkins, right, and ask him anything? Did he sit down with Roly Poly Martin? No.
Roly poly. I love the
but
names, yo.
but do you know who he sat down with? Cardi B. He was in a conference with Young Jeezy. You know,
Interesting.
this is what I'm talking about. Black America X is winning. You know, Black America X right is winning. Why? Look at the Super Bowl right now, right? They're gonna have Rihanna, Snoop, and Dr. Dre going to do the Super Bowl. Do you think that's because they like them so much? Because they want that section of ratchet Black America to be the face of Black America, right? You know, I mean, let's be honest. We're all gonna be sitting down at the Super Bowl, eating our shit, you know, watching the game and everything like that, you know. But the whole thing is this, though. They have this thing. They want to keep Black America distracted. They put millions and millions of dollars into Black America X celebrities, Black America X athletes, and all these people, because they know we have a lot of investors. We love these people. We admire them and all stuff like this, right? And the same rational Black America, right? The Black America that can actually pull nationhood off, right? This is who they're at war with, you know? The Black America, like you and I, the average guy that works businesses and everything, keep our nose clean and everything, don't fall in their traps and everything. Generation after generation of raising our families, raising our cousins and everything. We cherish our family, we cherish our history and everything. We love our people and everything. We don't ask for a whole lot in life and everything. And so, therefore, that Black America they hate, that Black America that basically who've always been the moral authority of the world, you know, that Black America they hate. They can't. You would think that white Americans. These are how races work, right? And I'm gonna get down tonight, folks. Let's just do some knuckle dragging, right?
Down to it.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you my story. Right, folks. Let me tell you my story, right? There's this old idea by a lot of racists and also a lot of Black coons, right? They're part of the Black America X too, because they're dysfunctional. You know, they're dysfunctional in their goddamn self, right? They always said, "Oh, if you do all this, white people ain't gonna be racist." That's a lie. My family did everything right. My father was a minister. My mother and father were God-fearing Christians. You know, they raised us right. They did all this stuff like this. You know, we were examples to our culture and everything like this. You know, and did that mean we were going to be accepted? No, because all they saw was we were black and we're not white. Okay, and so this idea that this, so you know something, those of us who have the same experience, right, in Black America, right, we tried to play by the white man's rules. He told us to do all this stuff like this. We understand we're doing this for ourselves. Our black excellence is for ourselves, and we serve God. You know, we don't serve man. You know, so this idea that we need them to tell us what to do and tell us how to live, and if we stay in line doing this, that somehow they're going to be rewarded. That's a lie. That's a lie, because the whole thing is this: the white people could be just as ratchet and everything. They could be just as low down and all this stuff like this. And guess what? They'll still be accepted in circles over you because of race and color. So we realize race and color and this stuff is real, and so that's why there's a lot of black people form their own sororities and black secret societies in Black America and stuff like that, and different social clubs. That's why we still go to majority black churches and stuff like this, because we realize we're still a people. Now the Black America X people, they don't think we are people, right? They invite everybody to the cookout, you know. They're around there shaking their ass, you know. They're out there acting stupid. They're up on TV making fools of themselves. They're giving talk shows and whatnot. When, you know, like Whoopi Goldberg, that freaking mammy of Whoopi Goldberg. Oh yeah, there's a funny video that's going around, brother Bomani, where this guy put this video out, man. I don't know if I sent it to you or not. Where Whoopi Goldberg, right? This guy, this lady did Whoopi did a movie, right? And the Daily Beast, which is a liberal, right, said that Whoopi Goldberg, they criticized her for wearing a fat suit, right? And the Whoopi and the Boo said that wasn't a fat suit. She said Whoopi Goldberg degraded fat people by wearing a fat suit. And Whoopi was like, I wasn't wearing a fat suit. But what I'm saying is, between The Real and all these other shows, and Fox Soul and all this stuff like that, we have these ratchet females of Black America acts like Vivica Fox and all these people that's tearing Black America down, tearing Black marriage down, tearing Black relationships down.
Yeah, brother. The last one was a joke, man. That you know what I'm saying, with those three things on there that, you know, it's like, you know what I mean, you know, it's crazy, man.
And the bottom line is this, man, and I gotta blame Umar, man, dude, man, man, I can sense you can't tell when you're talking to another nigga, man. Come on, nigga. I know women, bro. I can feel the aura, you know. But when you
but that was a good example of just, you know, the shenanigans that goes on that people got to be prepared for. That's what I'm telling my brothers, man. Be strong, because, you know what I'm saying, the world is testing you at the highest level now. You know what I'm saying, and you know you're gonna have to get your game right.
And these niggas keep failing the test, right? But yet they want to lead us and whatnot, you know. You keep failing the test and whatnot, you know. You keep fucking up and whatnot, and then they said, no, I'm sorry, man. You know, this is a serious movement. This is serious. You know, you don't have to go on anybody's show. You don't have to be with these people. There's nothing I got to say to Vivica Fox or whoever the hell that is, you know. I have nothing to say to any of these people. You think I can give a damn about being invited on Tariq Nasheed's show or whoever show or any of these goddamn niggas shows and whatnot? You think I care? No. Because the bottom line is, I'm for nationhood, right? If you're not a land infrastructure nationhood and building a nation and building a geopolitical global black pipeline, I don't want anything to do with you. You know, I don't give a damn if you got 1 billion followers, subscribers, and everything. None of that means anything to me. Because
what are you building for black people, man? What are you building for black people? What are you doing to build a future for our children?
Nothing. You know?
Those are the real topics. Those are the real questions that when we have people on the panel and we ask them, they're clueless. You know what I'm saying?
The nonsense we see, you know. And so that, like I said, what we're talking about tonight, folks, is this, right? When we talk about Black America, excellence, Black America, you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of education, but just your common values, you know. I could go to the projects, right, and find my people, you know. In the midst of all that, you find people, hey, you know, watch out, you boys around the corner, you know, you know, okay, thank you, you know. You go in the house and whatnot, hey, you know, I got some pie. Let me give you some water, pie, whatnot. And you go in the house and whatnot, you know, you see a Marcus Garvey book laying on the thing. I say, hey, my people, whatnot, you know. Yeah, I say, See, I got to go far in the midst of all the black people. Then you find your people, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, you
Serious
find your
business.
people, that's the feeling of that when you find your people, especially when you go to rural areas, right? And you find your people, they look at you like, oh man, you must be a big man. I'm just like you. I don't care if I got a suit and tie on. You're my people, and that just brings tears to my eyes when that there's still love out there in Black America, you don't need a whole lot of money. You don't need a whole lot of this, but when real Black people get together and whatnot, and we're sitting there talking and whatnot, I'm like, kinfolk, come on, let's get down, That's what I love. You know what I'm saying? That's what I love. You can take your college degrees and you take that and stick it up where the sun don't shine. And the bottom line is this: there's people out there with high education. That's my people. There's people with no education. That's my people. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's about being loving and being like, and you can tell when somebody's your people, they're always trying to build you up. They're always giving you advice. They're always trying to say, how can I help you out, brother Bomani? How can I help you out, brother Kala? How can I help you out, brother Dynasty? Give words of encouragement to these brothers. That's why I do it. That's why I give people words of encouragement and everything. That's showing that I'm a brother to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm a mentor. I'm a brother. I don't take no money from nobody and everything. But that's what I'm saying. That's what it means by you being in your people. You believe in your people. Charity begins at home. The Black people in America, the real Black America, we have to identify. Then there's Black America X, right? They're never going to be our people. These people are the ones that fucking up and everything. They're the ones spreading the ADOS, FBA, the negativity, and all the stuff like that you see in Black America. They're the ones that's doing the crime. They're the ones that's doing all the stuff like this. They're the ones that's basically in our education system, screwing up our kids with education, giving them inferior education, giving false education, all stuff like this, right? That's the Black America X. They lost. And the bottom line is that the last thing they never had their hand on is pan-African movement, because we got this shit on lock, we got this shit on lock. The bottom line is they have never produced something. They want to take over the pan-African movement, but they can't do it. Because the bottom line is, I know, like I said, one thing I learned, right, years ago, right, when I started doing this, really said about nationhood, right, I realized that a lot of people, despite the fact that we had Kwame Ture and everybody like that, there was never really anything really built between Black America and Africa, right? That's why when you're doing what you're doing, you're starting with a blank canvas. You're writing a book right now on how to do this, and how to do this. Because our ancestors didn't have the internet back then. They didn't have all the resources we had. So they did what they had to do. So now we're bringing it to a different level, building and relationships and everything. And I'm like, all my Liberian people and my Liberian partners and everything, they're like, yeah, man, this is going Black America. I said, this is a revolution happening right before your eyes. Black people in America building in Liberia, building in Sierra Leone, building these countries, Senegal, and everything, going back and forth. Look at RJ Mahdi, RJ from Senegal. This guy's being honored at the UN. All the hard work, ups and downs he went through in Senegal, he's being honored, in Senegal. I don't know what the rewards for, but that's what we're looking at. And so what we do is basically, this is what we do is we look at RJ and everything like that and say, brother, congratulations. You're making pan-African move. We may have a different approach and everything, but since you're making real moves, you're in the African continent and you're doing real estate and everything, and you're doing your thing, RJ, we support you, brother. Congratulations from myself and I'm sure brother Bomani, and we, like I said, the whole thing is this: we uplift each other and we build each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you cannot have pan-Africanism without
brother.
Black love and Black unity. You know what I'm saying? And we don't always have to agree with. You don't have to always like Kala and Bomani and everything. But the bottom line, we see you doing stuff with it, we're gonna come behind you and say, hey, look, we're gonna give you our support. That's what being Black America. That's what the real Black America is all about. And also, let's talk about our brothers and sisters and immigrants, right? When people came and became part of our community, traditionally, they are now part of Black America. When you come in our community right now, you from the islands and whatnot, and you come into the cookout, you come into church and whatnot, and you see the Haitian brother, he's in a sharp suit and tie and whatnot. Him and his wife walk up, hey, these guys from the West Indian family, hey. And you walk in the family and whatnot, and we're greeting you, and we're hugging, and like we're brothers and whatnot. That's what the real Black America is. You know, and somebody in the
Absolutely,
comments said
brother.
the
Absolutely,
ADOS
because
FBA. The ADOS FBA is the friggin' Black America X. That's the failure. You know, that's the failure of Black society. You
serious,
know,
brother, because
you
it's
know.
this big topic about immigrants. So we can literally even get into that. It's a big topic. I was watching
Yeah.
a video with it was Tariq Nasheed and some lady from I'm not sure what part of Africa, and I was listening to her and I was like, you know, um, and she said some good stuff, but I guess once you say certain things to Tariq, he's on you. But it's interesting, honestly, to not get on into what they're talking about. And only thing I gotta tell people is that it's a simple thing. You know what I mean? America, Canada, UK, and there's a few other nations. Their business is literally in immigrants. That's they have things on the top level, and all they're looking to do is they don't give a they just looking to just keep the
Yeah.
work
And the
people
whole.
for their business. It's kind of like you and I own a business empire, and our children run everything at the top. What are we gonna always need? We always need laborers,
Yeah, and that's what it is. And these
and
Negroes
so it's like,
that
and
out.
and and it's a blatant attack, like literally just like okay, and that's what I'm always telling people. It shouldn't be a reactionary situation. It's like okay, America is going to do what they're going to do, and other people are going to do what they're going to do. It's like, what is our move? It's kind of like making a move on a chessboard, and it's like everybody making moves, and you just standing still, like just like a sitting duck. And I'm telling people, this is the time for us to step up. Just like all the angry black men out there complaining about the woman king, things like that. I'm not saying that they don't have a right to be angry, you know what I'm saying? But it's like sometimes you need to get kicked in the, to stand up and make some moves. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like that if that's a move where it shows women or black or specifically black women progressing or doing what they're doing,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You can't just react and say, you know what I mean, with a bunch of just weakness. It's like show your move. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always showing our move and things. I'm telling people like it doesn't matter how you feel about immigrants or black women progressing or whatever it feels. If you want to sit there and be a weak excuse for a man like the Negropean or like Afro dumbass or Afro dumbass, which are the examples of pathetic black men in our society that stands for nothing. That all they do is their own for their own selfish gains and things. So people like myself always telling people like, know what I'm saying, put your money where your mouth is, put your life where where you talk that stuff, and prove to us what we're saying is wrong. Prove to us what you're doing to make a difference. Because right now, we're talking to most people that probably have children, they have their family, and it's like, okay, what's up with the next generation? You know, and is it just you're just gonna sit here and complain about what everybody else is doing and what other people are making moves. And that's why that guy Nak Measy was a joke when he came on. It's like family. We're talking real stuff. I know you like to go and run and troll and stuff like that, but people like myself, this movement is my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm dedicated to this movement until the end. You know what I'm saying? There's no day off or no time off or nothing. You live this life every day. You get up every day. You work with your own black people so we can do business together. You help each other. People come here all the time, from dropping computers off to sitting here, we're doing presentation, and it's like you have a world where you're working together with your people. You're not just on a YouTube channel talking about this and talking about that. You live in the life, you put in the work in, and that's the most important thing I'm explaining to people. You know what I mean? That if we as a people, we as a black African people, we are people who actually want to do something. If we must just like show and prove, and literally just let folks know if you ain't gonna, if you're just gonna sit around and just talk and gossip, then you don't need to be in the circle of what we're building. And just like I'm telling people here, do not come on here if we put the join us and come and just run your mouth, because we're not here to debate or joke with you. We're here to conversate and connect with our people. You know what I'm saying? We have given people a chance to where we can talk and you know what I'm saying, them share their differences. But it's fine to be, it's fine to disagree, but it's not okay just to you know, disagree to the point just to disagree because you don't have anything else to show. And it's kind of like when we saw about Not Measy, it was like his goal is literally to disagree with everything without showing any concrete proof of what he's talking about. It's like if you're gonna debate and talk with people, you gotta support your argument. And number one thing you also have to do, you have to answer questions. There's no questions that anybody can come on here and access, and we have not answered. Last I checked, we have answered 100% of all questions. and
Yep.
also give great analysis and details. So we're saying, family, let's do this as a people. You can either be with an energy of just Black excellence, or you can be in this the psycho, crazy, oppression, madness, mentally ill, crazy
Yeah.
people
Black
that do
America X.
anything else.
Black America X, man. You know, it's always like if people wonder why people get upset, right? I always say Black America X are always going to get more people supporting them, right? For example, right? If you have people gravitate toward negativity, you know,
Always,
you
it's a
know what I'm
serious.
saying? What name the top 5 shows on HBO history? You know, you got The Wire, The
All right,
Sopranos,
so
right? And the other
see if
thing
we
we
can
got
add
maybe
one of
Breaking
them.
Bad, you know, everything negative. You know what I'm saying? You ever notice that, right?
Bad news sells, man. That's it, and that's why people like myself
Yeah,
don't have like don't have like a million subscribers.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, when you're talking about land infrastructure nationhood,
Right.
building a global pipeline, right? We told people last week, Kyle, I got so many questions to ask you. Yo, it's been like 4 days, right? Did they sign up for the social network site? No, right? They wanted to know about Angola. When I have Angola, did they sign up and try to connect with me? No, you know. And so basically, we tell these people that we're here. You know, we're doing this. You don't have to pay for anything, right? Just sign up and everything. No, but you spend most of your time trolling the internet, looking for gossip and everything like that, right? And then you want to come to us and tell us what to do for this. Bomani and I have been working on this for years, and we have a thing. If you follow what we're talking about, ad or like that, the idea of nationhood is doable. You know, we're telling you, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think it was possible. You know, our ancestors are guiding us through this. You know, the idea of building communities in Africa, setting up a global pipeline trade and everything like that throughout Africa and the Black world, right? The whole thing is this, you know, the face of that has to be serious, right? Let me give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about, right? We talk about Black excellence, right? Stephen Hightower, right? I wish we could find his video. Let's play. Let's find. I'm gonna send you this video. Let me send you his video.
Yeah, absolutely. If
We
you
talk
can
about
get
Black
it.
excellence. Let's talk about this. You know, let's talk. Let's get down tonight, right? Let me tell you about what I'm talking about. Stephen Hightower. All right, let's see. Stephen Hightower. Oil. Let's see. Oil and gas. All right, it's a four-minute oil tycoon. You know, it was great 5 years ago. It's a 1 minute clip. I want you to play this, Bomani, right? And this is what I'm talking about by Black excellence. You never heard this guy before. You know, mostly we're introducing. So this is another thing, right? The Pan-African movement is taking Black America and the Black race's wins as our own. We're part of Black America. We're not Black America X. You know, we're taking the wins of our own, right? With two more of the Pan-Africanists. Oh, he's a capitalist, Black Boule. You know what I'm saying? No, we're now saying, yo, he's a Black man. He succeeded, and we want the Pan-Africanist world to be winners, right? And so therefore we embrace these brothers that are winning, you know. And I sent it to you on WhatsApp, right? We're gonna talk about this brother right here, Steve Hightower. He operates throughout the world right now, right? He could have basically helped Dangote build that refinery, you know. Imagine that, a Black man from America, from Ohio, with Dangote and whatnot, you know, building an oil refinery. What would that do to the psychological for Black people all around, seeing Black people working? Like when the Japanese, I've seen that video when the Japanese built that steel mill in 1960, right, Mamani? I think it's a brand, but I'm gonna send it to you. Yo, that video, you see nothing but Japanese engineers on every stage of building that steel mill. First, they had to do a land reclamation because Japan didn't have the land, right? Then they had to reclaim the land, right? They had to put rocks in the land, right? And then they had to put the blast furnace in there, right? They had to concrete with steel and everything, right there. And every step of the way was like this. And then in the end, they had the Japanese Shinto priests blessing it, right? All Japanese infrastructure, you know? The bottom line is the Black man and the Black version of the world have to start showing our youth. It's for the next generation that they can build massive projects all across the globe, right? Together as a Black race. You know, let's listen to the brother, his story, Stephen Hightower.
All right, perfect. Let's get it rocking and rolling.
We Call It Millionaires, narrated by Tim McGraw. Premiere episodes Wednesdays at 10. CNBC, get yours.
Now, folks, yeah, that's what we're talking about, right? That's what we're talking about. That was made years ago. That was made like 10 years ago, you know? And I know he operates in Africa now, South Africa, the Middle East, and everything. Hightower, he got a method of oil transport and everything. The guy is basically taking names and kicking ass, you know, taking ass and kicking names, however you want to put it. The bottom line is that's Black excellence. That's the Black America we come from. That's the Black America of Bomani Tyehimba, you know? That's the Black America we're talking about, right? We're talking about Black America, the side of Black America that do things and win, you know, that don't bring disgrace on our people. You know, that's a Black America that wants to be inspirational, make us feel proud to be who we are. That's the Black America the Pan-Africanist world now embraces, you know. Now, the ratchet Black America or whatnot, you know, you cannot bring, those people are never going to be Pan-African. They're never going to build anything. Black America X with their fuckery and everything is never going to build anything, you know. The brother like Stephen Hightower, that's the Black America that we have to basically say one day, you know something, Angola's looking for Black people in America to get into the oil sector. One day the Pan-African people have to be proud one day to step to brothers like him say, look, you know, I know we have a bad rep and stuff like that. I know you think with people that sit on the street corner waving RBG flags and all say down with America and all like that. But we're a different type of Pan-African now. This is Black African Infrastructure Organization. We're a different type of people, different type of people. We talk about building. We talk about science. We talk about education. We talk about learning. You know, though that's the Black America that I know. That's the Black America that I came up in. You know, so therefore, this is what we're talking about, folks, when we talk about the future of Black America. You know, future of Black America. There's a Black America and there's a Black America X. The Black America X is perpetually stuck on foolishness and nonsense and everything, you know. So, Authentic Africa PBS has a special Making Black America. It's a new series tonight. Yeah, I wish I could see that. You know, if you could put a link in there, we could like this. Africa, I believe Africa is free. Africa is never going to be free as long as Africa is relying on Europeans and Arabs to build, right? And the reason why Africa hasn't reached out to the Pan-African world, because look who we've been putting up there as Pan-Africanists, you know? People go to Africa, don't understand business, don't understand science, don't understand technology, don't understand hard work, don't understand risk, don't understand investment and everything. And so therefore, they don't mess with Pan-Africanists, you know, because we go over there with this, oh yeah, we're all Black and everything, and we look like fools, you know? This is what we're changing for the future. You know, we're going to be that group of people that can bring people under a Pan-African banner. In order for you to be a Pan-Africanist, right? Pan means many. You know, it means many. It doesn't mean that you just blend in the individual visibility and do nothing, right? Pan means many. That means if you're a Black person in America and you say we're going to be Pan-Africans, you have to be able to bring something to the table. You got to bring your best and brightest to the table, because when you go to Africa, they're gonna have their best and brightest looking right at you. Like, what are you talking about? You know, they expect you to bring your people that can invest, your people who got skills and everything. But if you turn the people off, right, by basically acting like Black America X, and the Black America A is sitting there like, you know something, man, y'all a bunch of clowns. So you have to repent and say that the Pan-African world has not done the right thing in engaging Black America. We haven't. You know, we have not engaged Black America to the point where they trust us with their future, with their children, with their posterity. That's why they look to America, you know, for everything, you know. And there's some Black people who took a risk with a Pan-African. They're all alone, like Eugene Jackson down in South Africa, you know, African Venture Partners. These people down there, I think I'll my brother Mark Blanton, you know, Bomani Tyehimba. But the Pan-Africans are doing it. We're all alone. They're all alone. We don't have the massive support of the Black community. You rather sit here and talk about friggin' reparations and all this kind of nonsense and everything, Oh yeah, we're dropping tonight, folks. You rather sit here and talk about reparations and black immigrants taken from you and all this kind of nonsense and everything, instead of saying, you know something, yeah, we can basically take over the world. You can even take over the Democratic Party if you want to. The Democratic Party is vulnerable right now. You can take over the Democratic Party. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have no power in America, and you don't want nothing to do with Africa. So I'm gonna tell you right now, what do you Negroes want? You have no political base. You have no economic base in America. You're not building anything. You can't even hold on to things like Ebony and Jet magazine. You know, and so therefore, when somebody says like Bomani is going to Ghana, building something, doing business with black people, you got something to say about that. Black America X, negativity, oppression, perpetual failure, perpetual misery, quagmire, no way to get out. The regular Black America, the nation, we're always going to be together. We're always building everything. We're mostly intimidated by these people, right? Because we've been led to believe that when we are successful, we did something wrong. People like this. You got people out there now who are succeeding in America, right? They're scared to say that like this, You know what I'm saying? Kala speaking like, yeah, but a lot of people are going to watch the show. I know it's only 29 people, but by the time this show in a couple of days, like we did the same thing the other night, but we had like 800 views since Saturday, So I know people are going to eventually watch this. And
yeah, the thing of it, Kala, one thing about people like myself now has been on this whole YouTube since like 2007. It's like, it's a different world for me. It's like, most of the people that connect with me on YouTube is like, is a quality of people who've been following a world that we've been building from the ground up. From when I didn't, know much about this, even in Africa, even though I went to several countries, to now where we're actually getting into business and things, and it's people seeing your growth. So it doesn't matter if we have a small amount of people, and I mean, because nowadays everybody chasing views and things. We're chasing quality of people. Because brother, I've had projects where we had like 100 brothers and sisters, and it was just a mess. But then it was shrunk down to 50, and now I was like, okay, we have a focused group of people, So it's like numbers is good, but the quality of the numbers is even more important. So appreciate everybody that's always following what we're doing and connecting what we're doing, and the people actually reach out to me, and you call me, and I was like, yeah, brother, I got a bunch of people travel with me to Tanzania and to Ghana. That's like, it's a group of 16 of us going to Tanzania, and a group of 26 of us going to Ghana, and that's November and December. And so I'm telling people that this is real business that we're doing. We're not just talking about Africa. And even in the days before, when we have to deal with this coronavirus and things, you're talking about 30 to 40 people. And that's just the love of our people from Black America, showing that, hey, I like what this brother Bomani is doing in Africa. I want to go to Africa. You know what I'm saying? Let me just roll with the best. Let me roll with people who have the experience, knowledge, and understanding of how this thing works, and connect with them. And then some of those people are living there on the continent. I've helped the first person move in 2007. Like literally, you know what I'm saying? Based on just being on a radio program talking about this movement. And, and then people are like, how much does this guy really know about living in Africa and everything? The thing of it is, no, I don't live in Africa. I live here in Georgia. I mean, but I have my life here, and I just can't just give up my life. But what I want to do is build the life in Africa where we have our enterprise there, to where you can run all operations, you can live there and do all the things you want to do. But it's like, how can you just get up and just make a move, and then you don't have the foundation? It's not going to be a successful move. So I tell people, don't let nobody put pressure on you to move into Africa. You know what I mean? When you do the calculations and see the people who actually make it, it's people who have their consistent flow of business going, and it's that simple. Whether you are, whether it's your pension, your retirement, whether it's money or you're literally just getting from this your investments here, you just got to keep a cash flow going, and then whatever you're building, it takes time in Africa to flow. So for me personally, while you're working here and doing certain things here, keep on investing. I got people living right there at our business office, right there on the land that we have. I have people right there in our crowd. We do business together. So it's like I'm telling people, I can't be at all in places, but the good thing about it, when you're doing international business to the highest level, you build relationships where you have your own brothers and sisters from from the African diaspora, but also in whatever local country, you have good people you have built relationship with, and then that's how you get things done. You're putting people together to work on things. So when I'm talking about Black excellence, family, we're taking Black excellence to another level, to where we're connecting with our people in Africa, and it's not some kind of oppressive situation. Because people always like talking about colonizer, and we're there to colonize people. The thing of it is, brother, if we have great contributions and we want to connect with our own people, so to where we can elevate ourselves together, you know what I'm saying? What's the problem with that? To where all of our children together, all Black children, are gonna have a Black future, where Black men have Black women to marry and Black women have Black men to marry. And it's like, so you're asking people like, what's so bad about these things? It's like, it's like when you're doing your thing, whatever you're doing, we're not there interrupting what you're doing, but it's like, you must really feel a way about us really just progressing ourselves and saying, hey, this is our 21st century, and we appreciate what ancestors have done for us. And always this incredible respect to Garvey. As people, the topic of still a little bit is about immigrants and immigration and things like that. And it's like, hey, some of the best of, in order for us to have a powerhouse, some of the best of our people, when we talk about pan-Africanism, let me give a great example of people. Pan-Africanism wasn't just formed with just a group of FBAs.
I hate that word.
Fake Black Americans. It was formed by a group of Black people from America, from and other parts of the African diaspora, and connected with our people there in the African continent. So that's what we explain to people about Pan-Africanism. That right there was a vehicle that took us to independence. Now, was that like, the end all be all? Was that like the end goal? No, independence is a foundation. You start with independence. You go through struggles. You also go through civil war. You go through civil unrest. You go through stress, and then you progress. And one of the greatest country I've seen through the level of that struggle is Rwanda, which we're gonna be going to July of next year. And then now we see Liberia is progressing to another level, and we're gonna be a part of that growth in Liberia. So I'm telling people, don't just sit around in the stands and just and criticize and run your mouth. If you want to be a hater, be a hater. Haters are gonna hate, just like trolls are gonna troll. Let them hate and troll. You know what I'm saying? But we have to take it to another level, because real Black men are leaders. Real Black men don't sit around and make videos complaining about the woman king making Black men look bad. Hey, the woman king ain't making me look bad. You know what I'm saying?
I have
I'm a
no
leader.
problem with it.
I'm a warrior. You know what I'm saying? I have enterprise. You know what I'm saying? I'm the man of my operation. You know what I'm saying? I'm the man of my family. And things like that. So it's like, if you having issues, I feel bad for you, son. You know what I'm saying? We got, what it is.
Problems. It slipped out. It slipped out, man. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm telling people, is like, if you have a female problem, son, I feel bad for you. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? Step your weight up, step your game up. It's what it is. You can't just expect people to not progress because you don't want to progress. You know what I'm saying? When I think about the women out there progressing, I think about my mother, my sister, and the women in my family. Very progressive. You know what I'm saying? And I would never get into the way of anything that they're doing to progress themselves, whether they're pushing their feminism, energy. It's all good, because I know the position of a man is for us to be leaders and us to be organizers. And if if you're doing what you're supposed to do, we're good. You know what I'm saying? If you feel a kind of way, that's all good. But brother, I was rolling with a friend of mine. I have one of my good brothers there. We were just we're working on some business strategies, and we're talking about the Woman King, because we went to to actually watch it, and I was showing the brother all the videos of all the Black men. I was like, they mad. I was like, good. I'm happy that something is making you mad. Maybe you'll stand up and step up. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that movie to come out to make me step my game up or make me angry. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but if that's what it has to do to some of you guys, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it. So family, what we're telling brothers to do, put your money where your mouth is, put your money together and make things happen and compete. You know what I'm saying? Because the world is not going to care what you feel, by just complaining.
The world does not give a damn about your feelings. That's all they fuck your feelings. That's all they just out right there. A rich boy or something like that. Something like that. A rapper, rich boy. But the feelings. The bottom line is this, man. I started 2022 off right at my radio show, and I said I got an announcement for the rest of the year, right? For the first year. This is my motto for 2022. Fuck your feelings. So the bottom line
You got
is,
99 problems.
feel,
That's what's up.
look, I feel a certain way about you,
These people ain't one.
your feelings, you know.
Absolutely.
I think you Adolf's FBA, fuck Adolf FBA.
Yeah, absolutely. Got 99
Yeah.
problems and these clowns ain't one.
Yeah, you know. So the bottom line is this: we're keeping doing what we're doing, right? Because the idea of building and ever connecting is just common sense. Everybody, oh, you know, when I talk about the stuff I talk about to even white people or Chinese people, they're like, that's just common sense, man. I said with black people, see, Black America X has it so that we're in a perpetual state of poverty, misery, and oppression and everything. So they can't use common sense to pull themselves out of it. Well, the real Black America, right? You go to the Black America. Let me tell you something, folks. Let me give you some of you Pan-Africans some advice, right? Recognize that two Black Americas you're talking about, right? There's Black America right here, that rich, poor, middle class, and everything. They're doing well, right? They're doing well in America, particularly here.
Like where you live at. And then where I live at, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
you don't bring Black America X problems to their doorstep. Alert them. Yo, man, Black women, blah, blah, blah. They're like, who are you? Understand you're talking to people who got their shit together, right? Those are the people that you want to attract to our movement. How do you do that? You appeal to them. Like at the BAO, man. I had people join the BAO when I did the engineers. When yo, man, I was thinking about moving to Botswana and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Then I heard you on Dynasty, man. I said that's the guy I need to be with because it makes sense. I was saying so. These are people from the real Black America. These ain't Black America ex fools. The Black America ex fools, right? If they go to Africa, they end up screwing up anyway. They're the ones that go over there and mess everything up for everybody else, you know, because they bring their problems to the continent, follows them no matter where they go. Okay, a real Black America, right? Guys are educated, people are hardworking, people got skills, everything. They're like, you know something, I would like to make go on a trip to Africa. I go to the Bahamas every year. We go down to Mexico and whatnot. You know, we travel, we go to Canada and everything. But nobody's ever talked to me about a tour to Africa. Then you tell them, I got a guy named Bomani Tyehimba. They're just, oh, okay. You know, and then they come here, they see how professional he is, you know, and they see that he has a track record. Yeah, I want to go on one of his tours. You know, that's what I'm talking about. But you have to be respectful. Understand that their time, their money, their safety is real. You can't just talk about, blah, blah, blah. Yo, look, we have to, when you try to sell somebody something, right? You're the representative, right? Me, I could not sell tours because I've never done a tour ever, right? So I had to partner with the best, Bomani, you know, because Bomani is going to get the people going to Liberia and Angola. That's my end goal, you know?
Absolutely, brother. You seen the package I put to Liberia based on what we talked about in a few months.
Once Liberia and is on the way and we got people doing stuff, people say, yeah, man, I went over there, opened up a farm. I did this one night. I like the tours. And I'm connected on the ground. We're going to have it so on autopilot. We got people going over every month, you know, without us, you know. We're going to have people going back and forth, man. I went over there, everything. Then Angola, I really do believe is going to be the grand, you know. That's going to be the grand. But we have to get to the certain level before we get to that. You know, we have to be so strong in every country. So we get to Angola. That's going to be that's where the real nation building and stuff like that we're talking about is going to begin. Because we're going to have a base of operations in all these African countries. We're going to have a strong base here in North America and Europe and the UK and all these other people. So we're bringing all the Pan-Africanists under one umbrella, you know?
Absolutely, family.
Infrastructure nation. And that's what we're talking about. That's the real Black America, you know?
And that's what we're doing, Kala. We're pushing out real energy to get real energy back. So that's why I have the link rolling down at the bottom, you know, for people to text me who's really down what we're dealing with so we can connect. And, you know, we're all about networking. I do have that footage right there. It's a short trailer, and I can play that. And then, you know, you and I can
didn't even know about it. They do poor advertisement because I never heard of this, you know. I never heard of this. You know, you would think all the big mouths that we have on social media would say, oh, this PBS has a trail in Black America, right? Let me play this clip. Make sure
I think the issue is this is too positive, you know, and they like to portray negative stuff that, you know, we're just like a bunch of failures and we're negative here. You know, there's progressive ones of us, but yeah, there's a bunch of us that are just, that's what we are as a people. So that's what they are as a people. their failures, and they make all of us look bad. And ultimately, their bad energy and the fight that they do against people or making moves end up making a situation where we have failed. We just like, it seems like the world of Black people from all over the place is just like, it's just not progressing as other nations are, and it's something that we have to take serious, family.
Yeah, we put our failures.
We have to call
on
our situation
shoulders.
out.
We put our failures as the crack. Like I told on Dining Show today about the crack. Don't tell me about the crack epidemic.
Right.
People got in the crack epidemic because it was cool and fun. They could make money and everything. We were not victims in that shit. I knew too many people that were getting rich, making money, and hustling, getting people hooked on that shit and whatnot. I don't want to hear that shit. People out there, Black people had working class Black people had money, right? They had all that money and nothing to do with it, right? The crack dealers say, "Yo, man, let me get you high, get you hooked." And next thing you know, you spend all your money, your rent money, everything on crack. You get thrown out in the street for that shit, So the bottom line is this: let's not hear a pity party. Oh, the crack. I'm sick of Black America X. Now the regular Black America, we weren't affected by that shit. I used to watch motherfuckers falling out on crack, so I feel bad for you, bro. I knew people that basically go on crack. I felt bad for them, everything like that. But I'm not gonna get involved in that shit. Don't bring that shit around me. Don't bring it in my house, whatever like this. So we were living in the same neighborhood. We see some people falling. You try to get them up, they fall back again. But we gotta keep striving and building. There's people that live in the same community, South Jamaica, Queens, all that stuff that was hit by crack that thrived. Now own Bentleys, got yachts and some of everything. How is it that they still lived in the same community, worked, did what they had to do and everything, and survived? And then you got some people like that. So why is Black America X always the face of Black America? And so go ahead, play it, Brother Money.
Absolutely, brother. It's no different from if some people were looking for some very intelligent people to represent our people, they wouldn't really reach out to the intelligent people. They'll reach out to some popular people or people who are gonna bring them views and things like that. So people like myself, yourself, we don't really get, but that's the problem. We don't have the right people representing us, and people, play these little games. So that's why we have to push out our own documentation. That's what I'm telling folks, man. You're traveling all over Africa, you're making moves, document it and share it with the world. So yes, let's get to this, Brother Kala. Let me play this, and we can just discuss this after.
Right.
Watching the game of Bid Whistle like going to the Apollo on amateur night. There is a magic to this game that makes it the Black national pastime.
Where'd that queen come from? I think they cheat.
Throughout our history, Black Americans have, with great ingenuity and imagination, created a world with its own values and rules. A world defined by unfettered racial self-expression. A world behind what W.E.B. Du Bois called the veil.
When we talk about networks of Black people, we're talking about different types of associations. There's a social type, fraternal, and intellectual organizations.
How were each of you shaped by Black social institutions?
I grew up in African preschool. I didn't learn Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I learned Coal Black and the Seven Simbas.
What does Black joy mean to you?
Black joy means being in a safe space and feeling free, where you can really be yourself and shed that skin.
Wherever you have a large concentration of African Americans, you have business districts that rise up, that meet the needs in these communities.
Annie Malone and Madam C.J. Walker basically developed hair straightening. Was that a good thing for Black beauty?
Part of our magic is that we can do anything with our hair. I can straighten it. I'm still going to be dope Julie, Black Julie.
Black social networks, Black institutions, they are like barrier islands. They protect us from the storms of this country.
When we come together, what time is it?
So what happens when we begin to see the deterioration of Black institutional life?
There have been people who've argued that our community was better off before integration.
When I was growing up, everybody in my sphere was Black. There was just that sense of everybody in this together. I think we've lost that.
When we look now in the 21st century, we see many of the same issues our Black foremothers and forefathers faced: economic disenfranchisement, anti-Black violence. But we're facing them without many of the institutions that Black people had to sustain them during the first round.
I constantly am thinking about what it means to occupy my identities. I do surround myself with Blackness.
As long as race counts in America, Black networks and institutions will always matter.
From the founding of the Prince Hall Masons to Black Twitter, African Americans have forged networks in their own image as the ultimate act of resistance and survival.
Dog, I gotta see that, man. I don't know how to find. I don't even know what PBS is on my my channel. Get the channels down, whatnot. Remember having the days back in the day? It used to be 1 through 13.
Oh yeah, I do remember 1 through 13.
I used to watch PBS all the time. It was channel 13. You know, it was channel 13. You got a lot. I used to get a lot of African news from that. You know, back in the day. Now I don't even know where to find PBS at, man. You know what channel it is on Verizon, man. I don't even know where it's at no more. But that's what I'm talking about, man. Black people in America don't understand our rich heritage, culture, and bonding that we had in Black America, our togetherness we had. You know, that's the real Black America, you know? The Black America who wants to be thugs and gangbangers and boss bitches and bullies and clowns and deadly clowns. That ain't the Black America, you know? You know, so that's what we're talking about tonight, right? And what happens is this: a lot of people are frustrated with that part of Black America, and they take it out on all of us. Like we're all like that. There's still a thriving Black America that still exists, folks. They're not on social media, they're not all like that, but they're out there. And those type of Black people will be open to what we're talking about and building in Africa, right? But you can't come at them. You got to come with respect. You got to scun that. Yeah, we understand. Okay, you know, you got to talk their language and build with them, you know, and it's out of respect. That's what we're doing here tonight. We're reaching out. We know where the money is going to come from. Bomani knows who's putting money in his pocket. 30-something people going to Tanzania, 20-something people going to Ghana and whatnot. That's Black America, you know. Where there's 20 and 30, there's 1,000, right? And so therefore, what we're saying is we're putting a face on Black America. We're identifying with Black America. Black American excellence. This is part of Black American excellence. The pan-africanist movement, the repatriation movement, the building in Liberia, Ghana is just a part of Black America. We're going to explain that in the future shows. How Black people building in Africa is as old as Black people living. Like they mentioned Prince Hall Mason, you know, the first Black Masonic stone buildings was Black America, introduced to places like South Africa and Liberia, you know. We built stone buildings, stone churches and whatnot, the African Masonic order, you know. So the bottom line is this, you know, our culture of the African American slave descendant, the Black American, the diasporas, the people from Haiti and the Caribbean and all these people who congregated with us in Harlem, you know, we were one people. You got half of us coming from the South, a quarter of us coming from the Caribbean. And we all made it work right there, man. When you went uptown and whatnot, you was in uptown. That's the only thing I didn't think in the movie. Remember the movie Hoodlum with Lawrence Fishburne? They didn't have any really Caribbean representation in that movie, you know. The Caribbeans were deep in Harlem during that time period. They talked about Garvey. You see the movie Hoodlum, right? With Lawrence Fishburne, you know.
Oh yes, absolutely. I remember watching that back in my Virginia days, Virginia Beach. I saw that when I was in Virginia Beach, I
saw that in Lynn Haven Theater. Where'd you see it at?
In the late 90s.
I know. What theater did you go see that at?
Oh, no, it's usually I go to Lynn Haven right there by the
you probably the same
by the naval base, Oceana.
Yeah, okay. You went to Lynn Haven. I was in Lynn Haven.
My old stomping grounds.
Yeah, Lynn Haven, Oceana and whatnot, you know. We
back in the days.
You know, so, but the bottom line is this, man, you know, that movie right there, I like that movie because, you know, They talk about the Garvey era, Marcus Garvey.
The queen in there. The queen was in there.
Yeah.
She's like, me no got no balls.
Me no got no more. Oh, that's what they did. The queen. She goes, she's from the islands and whatnot. She goes, and you notice how they always portray the people from the Caribbean were always top class. You know, Madame Stephanie Quer was from the islands, right? She was.
It's amazing. People don't this. People. It's unfortunate. I'm telling people, brother, just like you and I are connecting, brother.
They don't know our history.
Brother, we're stronger together, and we are proving that. Where did Garvey come from? Garvey left beautiful Jamaica. Beautiful Jamaica. Because it's what it is. Let's be real. It's what it is. Where's the movement at that time in the world? America.
Right.
Where did Kwame Nkrumah come to? Where did Kwame Nkrumah come to? Kwame Nkrumah left Ghana and came to America.
He was in Philadelphia.
And then so you have all these. So I'm telling people, you have all this pool of great Black power energy.
So the Black America
use it to build a serious movement. That's what they did. So now we have the same thing, but it's like you have this FBA foolishness, ADOS. You got you're an immigrant, you this, you that, and I'm telling people like, yo, you're looking at the game wrong.
Yeah,
let's give our brother Jughead some love and some shout outs.
Yeah, what's up, Jughead?
Greensboro Money and Kala. Reagan administration destroyed African Americans almost by swamping your ears with drugs. And that's what I'm telling people, family, that, you have this all out attack on us as a people. But it's like, okay, it's like you playing a game of chess. You know what I'm saying? Other people are making their moves. You're just going to stay in there as a sitting duck, or you're going to make your moves. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's kind of like, we talk about all these other nations before, like, I was talking about, back before, 60, 70, 100 years ago, when Africa and the Asian nations were literally just being dominated by mainly just European powers. And now we see a whole different world now.
The Bang conference said, you know something, man? I don't know what it is about the Asians, right? It's like we regressed. The Asians were, I think, because they, let me tell you something, bro. The Asians really, here's the problem. This is what I think what the difference was, right? The Asians watched the Europeans be defeated by another Asian, like the Japan. They watched it. They saw Europeans begging for their lives with Japanese soldiers and getting gunned down and whatnot, surrendering with their hands up and whatnot. We never psychologically had that happen. We never had that all-out race war with them. Asia had a race war. Asia, with the war in Southeast Asia was a race war, between Asia, the United States, and the Western powers and Japan. On the thick of it was a race war. Asians came out of that thinking, well, we could defeat these people. These people aren't inevitable. They're not gods. They look how the Japanese crushed them. They said that Sukarno said the main reasons why the Indians rose up against the Dutch because they saw the Japanese defeat them. They said we thought that Europeans were superior to Asians, that they were our masters and lords, you know what I'm saying? And they're Japanese. And that one Japan, man, rolled through Southeast Asia, boy, sunk the United States Pacific Fleet, ran through Burma, ran through things, sunk to Singapore. Japan ran roughshod through Asia and whatnot, and rapidly collapsed, this illusion of the British, Dutch, and the French empires and whatnot, So psychologically, they had that for them. The Black man's never had that happen. We've never defeated the white man really in battle, and stuff like this. So that day has to come one day, That day is there's no inevitable. That's why we're gearing our people up for this one day, this conflict, this final war called Armageddon, And white people don't get out of our way and whatnot, we're gonna bring the whole world down, And so
absolutely bring it down. And who we have our guests, just wanted to make sure that we bring some guests on and that way.
I'm ready for some guests. I'm ready for some discussion, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So let's bring on Jughead.
All right. Jughead, what's going on, brother?
Yes, Jughead. Hopefully your mic and everything is upright and direct and good to go as we rocking and rolling.
What's going on, Jughead?
All right, Jughead. Anytime your mic is clear, you can just go ahead, unmute, and speak. It's all good. I heard a ding. Ding dong.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Greetings, brother.
Good morning,
It is
Bomani. Good morning, brother Kala. Brother Jeff, aka Jeff from London, UK.
Hey, you're in GMT time, man. You're supposed to be in the morning.
Right now, it's almost 6 a.m.
Yeah, you're supposed to be out drinking some cup of tea,
yeah,
man.
I'm in bed, man, but I work late. So I'm in bed right now. I'm in bed right now, but I'm going to bed soon, but I'm working late, so hence why I'm a step late. I'm in bed right now. Half naked, so
hardworking man.
I'm gonna show my face. I don't want to get you. Yeah, Kala, Bomani, yeah, great. I missed your broadcast last time, man. I was upset because it's a good topics, man. So I thought I'd catch you now. Yeah, what Kala said is half true about the Asians. Well, we did fight, Kala, but what it was, we won a step back. Look at the wars in the Azania with the Zulus, the wars in the Ashanti wars, in Ghana. We had victories, but for some reason we fight and down tools. What is Kala? We love life. We respect life too much. The European has a bloodlust. Malcolm said it, and we don't have that. That's the problem. That's the difference. We're too civilized for our own good. We don't have that bloodlust. We fight to defend ourselves. When we win, we step back. When they get out to decimate, we don't do that. That's the problem. Or good thing. We have that humanity. That's our problem. We're too humane. We win our victories, then step back. That's the problem, Kala. You know, we have victories, but we won and then step
you're
back.
Absolutely. The problem is this, though, right? Here's what happened in Africa, right? Like I said, Africa's the problem was the transatlantic slave trade, right, took Africa out of, like I said, we were like around 1600, right? Africa and Europe and all the rest of the world was pretty much on the same level, right? Europe had like 250 years to like the mid 1800s, right, of development and scientific growth because of the wealth they created, of the transatlantic slave trade, the opium trade, all that shit they did around the world. By the time the Europeans realized that there's a whole African continent, when African Americans began returning to Africa, they saw this as a threat. So they basically began claiming land for themselves to prevent. The whole idea of reclaiming land, just like the country you see in Africa, was to prevent the black people from the West from ever going to Africa and building. That's why they created these fake countries, you know, these, I'm not gonna call fake, these fake boundaries, these fake countries where they to hold them, they're placeholders. All these countries you see, the Ivory Coast and everything like that, these are all French territories. That's why the French are in West Africa and everything. They're basically French territories. They're basically tethered to the French. The British are tethered to the crown. That's why everybody's crying over the Queen of England and everything. It's psychologically. That's why the Pan-African world is a real threat to them. And the Pan-African world pipeline usually coming from the West, the radical diaspora in Black America, right? They want to crush us. The idea of basically you have to crush Black America for them to be for them to rule the world like they want to rule. You know, there's a fake. Did you ever heard this blog called Afriforum out of South Africa? You ever heard that, Jughead?
No.
Okay, it was
Afriforum.
Afriforum. It's a white racist forum in Southern Africa. Right, a lot of Black people joined it. Right, we thought it was Pan-Africanist, and then we found out that years ago that it was run by white Afrikaners. They was basically collecting information about Black people in the West, and they came to the conclusion that the biggest threat to their survival is the influence of Black people in the West to Africa through social media. You know,
correct.
And so, therefore, they said, "Oh, what are we going to do?" There's nothing they can do about it. That's why they shut down Afrikland on Facebook. They got that removed. They got all the stuff like this. This is why I said that I created my own social network site, the BAIO, because they can't shut that down. If I was to build the BAIO on Facebook and everything, I'll be vulnerable. I'll be sitting there doing the Black America X thing. They shut down my social media platform. They shut down. No, I built my own social media platform. They can't stop it. You know, and it's more effective than anything I could ever did on Facebook, you know? And so all we ask for people to join the social media site and join and build with us and everything. We got people in different chapters, different countries. You want to hook up with our people in Zambia, Angola, Liberia, and everything. They're all there. You know, if you want to build something, So we could make this our own Twitter, our own everything. Because the bottom line is this, you know, you can, there's no white people in our social network. You can, all as long as you have to be Black or Black African or Black African American, then you can join. That's it. We don't have no ADOS, FBA, stupid nonsense. We don't have no tribalism, everything. If you're Black and you're Black African blood descent, you know, slave descent or Black African heritage, indigenous, you're welcome in the BAIO. You know, that's all we think. And we're building a new culture, a global culture of Black liberation and Black excellence and Black achievement globally, you know, by bringing the best minds and everything together on a platform and to facilitate the liberation of our people. You know, and the bottom line is, like I was saying before, the 250 years that the Asians had, even though they were colonized, they had some sort of education. They had some sort of a middle age. In other words, the Chinese were trading with Marco Polo. They had contact. The Japan had, even though there was an isolation for 250 years to the Tokugawas, they had contact with the outside world. The world was getting smaller with Asia and Europe and everything. But in West Africa and the northern part of Nigeria, they had contact with the Western world, right? They had contact through books and the book trade. And the book trade across the Sahara was one of the largest book trades in the world, right? But that didn't stop there on the coast of Africa, where they were pretty much isolated from West Africa, or the West Africa Sahara region, and they were isolated from other parts of Africa and Europe. And European, if you look at where the slavery and the slave trade was damaging, it was on the coastal Africa, you know, from Senegal all the way down to Angola. That's where most of the chaos and stuff happened, right? Why? Because there weren't these cities of learning and scholarship that basically could say, you know something, we're all getting screwed here, you know, let's do like that. That's what it was, right? Slavery that was least was places like Timbuktu, Guinea, and stuff like that. There wasn't really that much of a slave trade for the most part, you know, or people in northern Nigeria, Kano and Kanori, and places like that. There wasn't really much of a slave trade. There was some slaves served in half, but for the most part, right? This transatlantic slave trade devastated Africa, right? While the rest of the world was developing, Africa was going into a state of human degradation the world's never seen. You know, people kidnap each other, sell each other for money and art and whatever they want to do, right? And so therefore, psychologically, when we came out of the slave trade, right, I do believe that we weren't unified enough and like I said, I always say this, and a lot of people don't like this. We basically, African life is so cheapened, right? That Africans were selling each other for things, right? And so even to this day, right, the brain drain out of Africa is the fact that Africa does not value human potential, you know? Yeah. So therefore, Europeans are able to come in and suck the brains out of Africa, you know, because there's no African in Afrikstan that says we need that genius. We need that genius. What happened? What do we do in Africa? When somebody's smart, we send them overseas. We give them to the white man. Yeah, we send them to China. We send them to China.
Well, perfect. Hey, Jughead, can you hold for a few seconds? You know, once I got new people and I wanted us to get them in the conversation. If you can just hold for a few seconds. Tabula Rasa, and apologize if I'm pronouncing the name incorrectly. Let me unmute you. Welcome to the call. Introduce yourself and just connect with us.
Yes, thank you. I'm just here. I'm a beginner. I'm listening. I wanted to hear the Jughead. I've heard your show before. I've commented on it, but I've never came on live. I've always asked about if this is my first week hearing you all, and you all talk about unity of people and work ethic. What's the first thing to get involved with what you're doing or Kala Genesis is doing? What would you tell a person to start reading and studying for them to become a part of it, even if it's their first day, they don't know anything. They're just changing their life today. They're Black. They want
to social network. Join our social network. That's the easy.
Which one?
The BAIO Global Pipeline.
Is it in the chat?
Yeah, it's right there on the screen.
Well, where's it at?
Right there on the screen. The screen you're looking at, right
to the right. Okay, right there. Got it.
Yeah. So you join the social network, right? I have tons of blogs, tons of pictures, everything like that. You can basically do different groups and everything, make friends with people, and that's how you get acclimated. You know, it's like I said, I wrote a lot of blogs, understand what we're talking about and everything. But Bomani got information in there. We got all of it. If we basically come under one platform and we got stuff, you can upload stuff, videos. Don't be shy, share experience. We got a forum in there, we got a chat room in there. You can talk to the people in the chat and everything like that, so social network, it's a social network of socializing of people of like mind, What the problem with YouTube is, we don't really know what people are really about outside of YouTube and everything. My social network, our social network, I don't say mine, our social network, right? After a time, I get to see what people are really about what they upload, what they talk about, what they discuss and everything. And then I'll see some of these people on the social media and I say, okay, this person's real because he's really talking our talking points outside of our social network, So therefore, there's plenty of information, everything. The idea of land infrastructure nation, Afrikstan being an end game, unity of Black people globally, and the Black African infrastructure. We need our own global Black African infrastructure. We do not have that. Right now, everything that goes in and out of the Black race, whether it's America, Africa, is controlled by somebody else. We consume steel, we consume rubber, we consume everything, paper and everything, but we don't produce nothing. And so therefore we don't produce nothing because we don't have a base of that we control. We don't have anything. We don't have a manufacturing base. We don't have all those things. And the bottom line, the reason why is because they discredit Pan-Africanism. They buffoon it. They clown it. They think they make it out to be a joke. It's impractical and everything. That's what they did with Garvey. And it wasn't, what they did, how they destroyed Garvey? They destroyed Garvey through lampooning, clowning. He's a buffoon, misrepresenting what he's saying and everything. And then years later, something? Garvey had a lot of good ideas. Well, it's too late, Negro, once he's gone. And so with the social media platforms, we're able to fight back. We're able to fight back, and people put stuff out about us, we're able to fight back. Garvey didn't have that ability. If the New York Times says he was a clown or a buffoon, you believed it. If they said that his movement is impractical and foolish and everything, they tell the lies and everything, you believe it. And so that's why we have to have our own social media platforms telling our message and everything. The Pan-African movement has to be taken seriously. It's about professionalism. It's about our best. Garvey was about our best, and that's why they hated him, because, the white man feels that he's entitled to our best. Our best minds belong to him. Look at it in Africa, like brother Jughead, he lives in the UK, I'm sure he would much rather be living on a continent, but the way the situation is, the white man takes our best and brightest and build their world up. They take the French Africa, take the best French kids and whatnot. They become Frenchmen and everything. They've been doing that for a couple of hundred years now. So the Pan-African world saying that we're using the best minds to build Africa. Every Black man should be on code with that. Let's take our best minds to build Africa. And so that's the whole thing. And I joining the BAO is a path to that.
Do you all offer any type of education? Like something, if a person like if a person wanted to study Python, if a person wanted to become a computer,
No, what we have, check this out. What we have is it's a social network, right?
Okay.
We have people in there that do all that stuff. We just have to meet people and say, hey, look, But I would urge people, right, to when you bring something to the table. You can go in your local area, right, and find out and study those things. You can go to your local library and research that. So where do I want to study this, right? I want to study this thing, and it's available. There's so much information right there at your fingertips, right? Go to your local library, right?
I understand that. I'm saying what you're doing, like if you all are building you saying as far as from here to Africa, if you all are actually building better warehousing in America to start, if you all are starting with producing, you said manufacturing. If you're trying to produce some type of manufacturing program here, myself and other people, if I got 10, 20, 30 people, what should they actually physically know? What's going to help that actual place you're trying to build, where it is?
Okay, let me ask you a question, right? Let me ask you a question.
Sir.
What exactly, there's no disrespect on anything, what exactly will be your interest in building? What would you be interested in?
Okay, well, I'm interested in, since I've heard the problem with even the FBA and Secure the Tribe. We have many people that have their own little sects and groups. And I keep hearing Pan-Africanism, like yourself. And then I hear Brandon, Pan-Africanist Strikes Back. Brandon, he's a lot of times he's on Dynasty Mirror. So that's why I've seen you, him, and Brandon at the same time, like Sim Police. I hear you all, but not that, the social media thing is right or wrong. It's just if I said I want to get involved and be able to grow, if you would tell me books to read so that to communicate the information, things
Okay,
to read and do,
there's plenty
and
of black.
straight into it, not just blank. It's just what you're actually working on, people are working on, that person can show you they're about that, because you're going to have plenty of philosophy. People
Right.
going to get on these platforms, but for a person, if I'm not going to be on social media for the next 3 weeks, but I want to contribute, read what? Make sure I know what in the end of the month.
This is what I say like this. Like when we talk about Pan Africa, right? You got to take the people. Let me take it like this. Brother Bomani we're building a community in Ghana, right? We're building. We want to build communities in Africa and Liberia and all these other things, right? Right.
Yeah.
Now I would say like this in offset, right? The people that are doing this stuff are already there, right? But they're not together.
Right.
Together. We're not coordinated, right? We're not coordinated. Right. We got people doing all this stuff, building here, building there, just like that. But what we're trying to do is organize people under one platform where we're saying that we can build together, right? Now we're not at the level yet of building because we don't have government backing. We're not backed by like the Chinese. The Chinese have billions of dollars they put their people in Africa with, right? We don't have that yet. So this is pretty much grassroots. It's an ideology, okay? And so what the people that's Black America that's doing that have the capability to do this, we're trying to draw those people to us. And earlier in the show, we played Stephen Hightower. Now, Stephen Hightower operates the oil business. He operates in Africa and he operates all over the continent, right? But he doesn't operate under the banner of Pan-Africanism. He just does business. But if Pan-Africa would make sense if he got together with Nigerian Aliko Dangote, wouldn't that make sense? So therefore, what we're saying is this, though. It's about who we're drawing to the thing. We have no problem drawing the grassroots, right? But what the BAOs have been successful at doing, right, is attracting people who are engineers. I was before COVID, I was about to send a team to Angola, right, to do fiber optics, to get fiber optic contractors and IT contracting and for the Angolan government, and so therefore they're looking for the government. Angola is looking for Black people in America with expertise to come there. They were going to pay for everything. They said we'll give you a house, everything. All you have to do is buy a plane ticket to come over, and we'll handle everything. We'll do the itinerary, everything. So we have those connections on the continent, but the whole thing is we don't have people that have the skills, right? The skill set. We need people right now at this point with skill set. I have engineers, I have doctors, I have everything. But the thing is, though, are they willing to go to the continent tomorrow and link up? And a lot of times, people, their jobs, everything, they can't do that. So what we can do is the people that can make it to the continent, what we do is we throw our support behind them. You see what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So it's not like okay, we're building this. Sometimes you may live in Texas, right? Your best bet is to stay right there in Texas, right? There's somebody that might be living in Nigeria, right? In the BAO and stuff like that. We're connected. It's like a global connection pipeline and everything. Somebody might say, banks are on everything, and we're basically winning contracts, and we're doing stuff like this, and we're building all throughout the continent. And some people like say, something, let me plug you into this people right here we have in South Africa. See, other than that, there's not that happening. We have people on the continent, but they're not communicating with each other. They're not basically saying, building with each other, because a lot of times people go over there and they're on their own. They're just doing their own thing. And a lot of times people are shy, and that individual, and it all comes out when you leave America. We see in America, we come together based on oppression, just like the FBA. They're being oppressed by Black immigrants, right? So that's a rally point and everything. But you take the Black immigrants out of the problem, right? And what does FBA ADOS have? Nothing. So what we're trying to say is tonight is Black excellence, Black achievement, and everything like that is eternal. Whether you believe in America or you are Pan-Africans, that's what we have to build behind. If we basically are trying to build and come together and everything, we're going to come together whether we stay in America or we build in Africa. And the problem is we don't have that in Black America right now. Everybody's out for themselves. Everybody's selfish and everything, and nobody wants to put time and work in to build anything. And then we sit back and say, man, why these freaking Asians got so much? Why they got their Chinatowns? Why they got their Koreatowns?
Well, we know. But since you all have a network like the FBA at ADOS now, have you all ever thought about people that believe in what you're doing, represent you, and pushing the plan of the FBA to convince people about reparations, like work with a congressperson and let it be, no. You gotta wait till I'm finished and let it be known it's the same people that they call tether. See, if they have access to the UN and they did anything and it helped with what they were trying to do, that would convince people to stop looking at the tether versus thing. It's you have on a platform, once somebody from Africa gets the reparations arguments moving in America, they can't keep calling it tether. See, it's another side of, many of us don't have a problem with it, but it's something that is a problem when you have people that have to link up. It's still part of our process of growing to be together. But FBA and security tribes are powerful thing here.
How?
But because of mentally over here, we're spiritual and mental.
No, hold on.
We're controlled by the spirit and the mental, because these movements are more powerful than many things other people are doing, and it's actually captivated millions of people.
If they're so powerful, why are they complaining about to Phil Scott, but they didn't get no coverage?
But that's the thing; they are that's the same thing they've been saying. See, the people that are called black media, they know about these things. And they should have, since they want support. It's on both ends. The black media wants support. So FBA at ADOS wants support. It's a give and take. If you consider yourself the black media and FBA and at ADOS is going in on a particular subject and you're the black media, in order for you to consider yourself a be black media, you got to control, you got to teach and talk about black issues. You got to cover the black issue.
Let me ask you a question.
That's what the enemy does.
Let me ask you a question. Right now, the number one thing trending in Black America is the crime and the violence in Black America. Okay, they're talking about the fact that the number one thing talking about there's 250 rappers murdered in the last year. Okay. All right, Black people in America are abandoning Black communities and everything. The number one thing trending in Black America is the number of Black men who are going overseas, and not Black relationships have failed in Black America and everything. You see the popular Kevin Samuels, and now you got the Passport Brothers and everything like this. There's no collective Black America.
Yes, that's some Black men are going overseas. It's not happening in droves.
What I'm saying is
it's trending, but it ain't happening in droves.
Point, right? Now, when you talk about reparations, right? Let me ask you a question, right? All right. Give me a logical path to reparations. Give me a logical path to reparations that you can get rid of. Tell me exactly what the reparations are, right? Give me a monetary figure, right? And how exactly are you going to get it? And how exactly?
See, but that's the thing that you and many people do about monetary figure. Some people.
Let me ask
No. I'm not saying I can't. Some people know land. See, me having control over a piece of property and no right for the federal government to tax it, but it's my property. No, you gotta let me listen. Let me finish, and I get to determine what to do on my property. Because if I say more than 40 acres removed for my family, say they gave me a whole county. They give me a whole county, I'm going to lease the county out. So I can make percentages just like the people that lease out banks. It ain't about monetary. It's about that's where I'm at. I'm for it, but I'm not just for money. I'm for us getting it.
Let me ask you a question, right? You say your end game is to get land so you can lease out the thing.
No. I said I can show you how when you're saying the money, give me a monetary value. I'm just showing you that's one end of it. See if it doesn't
So
come
let me ask you a question, right?
because when you talk about money, it's easier to talk. It's easier to talk about land and different things than money. When you
Let me
start
ask you.
talking about cut the check,
Hold on.
that's different.
Hold on. I'm trying to ask you some serious questions here, bro.
That is serious with me. I'm serious about that.
Let me ask you a question, right? I asked you. I said, okay, give me a path of reparations. What exactly do you
Land.
want? And then you want land, okay?
Control over land.
Okay, control over land where?
A county. Give me a county in Arkansas.
No.
Warren, Arkansas.
Give me something. Is it in Africa? Is it in
Warren, Arkansas.
Huh?
Warren, Arkansas, where my family's from.
Okay,
I get the whole county.
So let me ask you a question, right? So they any white people live in Warren, Arkansas?
All over. Yes, it's Arkansas.
So let me ask you a question. So in that county, you saying that you're gonna take the land from white people, they're gonna pay you.
No, it's my land. It's my. If they give us reparations, it'd be ours.
What about the white people living there?
Whatever taxes people are paying already, the government, like the state, doesn't control it anymore. They can't just take taxes from people and they'll get to them whenever they want because
the state is going to surgically remove a part of territory from its bosom, right? Succeeded over to you, right? Let me ask you a question.
What did you just ask me? You just asked me what reparations was for me.
No. I'm just saying like this. This is what we talk about stuff like when you come on this platform, right? We have this thing called LARP. You know what LARP means? LARP. You know? That means whatever you say has to be logical, achievable,
yes,
reasonable, and practical.
Right.
Now tell me how what you just said, right, was your proposal, because you said that this is what we need to be talking about, reparations, everything like that. And you said land taken away from things, white people and everything.
I didn't say take it away from them. You said take it away.
You said you're going to secede the land to black people and everything. Black people.
That's what you said. You said reparations. I said for me it's land. If control of land. If they want to give me reparations, if they ask me, if they gave me control over, like say, if they gave me control over a whole state of black people, I would take control and I would like a governor. If I was the governor, they gave us reparations. Now I'm the governor. I have a right to use the land the way I want to help black people. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't oppress white people. I would just lease out the land that's not being used to foreign nations and build economic infrastructure on black people like that. Use the land for foreign nations. Get compound. Let me finish. Get compound interest without changing anything. White people pay the same tax they've been paying, and they don't have to get kicked off. It's just I control it. There's nobody else control it. It's having control over land. We have say so over the millions of dollars that's always generated, and they use it the way they want. That is reparations, where you can actually have control over something and you can show these same black people where their tax dollars are going, and then slowly can convince black people that that's better than talking about cut a check.
Okay,
straight up.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, brother. You gotta give me a couple minutes on this, right? Now, what would I tell you that you had that same situation in a place like Gary, Indiana, but you know Gary, Indiana is completely abandoned by black people?
That's where we go.
Okay, so you go back to Gary, Indiana, right? You understand the reason why black people left that area is because white people divested from the area. Where would you get the capital and everything to build the infrastructure and the tax base to lure black people back to Gary, Indiana? They also black people don't have families like we used to. Those were young.
It don't have. I'm telling you, I get reparations. If I get Gary in there, if I get a chance to do it, what's in my heart, I will go from that. I have a desire. That's why when I talk to you all, the whole point was like, because I know about Liberia giving dual citizenship. They offer citizenship again. Like they're outright doing.
They're not giving dual citizenship, bro. They're giving.
That's what they just said.
You can go to Liberia without a pass.
But what was the thing that they would talk about then in the media?
For people who were born in Liberia, who happen to be in America or their children can get citizen. They won't lose their citizenship. They can have U.S. passports.
So what about the people in America born here?
That does not apply to you.
So wasn't that sanctioned by America?
No, it was not sanctioned by Liberia. Has nothing to do with America.
How did Liberia get set up?
Liberia was founded by Black America, free African Americans, right? Who went over there on the auspices of the American Colonization Society. Then after 25 years, they kicked them out, right, and declared their independence. They had really
But the American Colonization Society.
Yeah, they had nothing to do. There was a charity organization. It was not a government organization.
I understand that, but it still started over here.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, though, the Liberians, when you touch African soil, right, it's something about Liberia. If you study history, I have a book. I wrote a book about Liberian history and everything like that, Journey to the Promised Land on Amazon. You know, I'm a scholar in Liberian history, right? It's like this. Once, like I said, people had stuff. When you hit African soil and the reality of not having the white people to fall back on and everything, you had to make that work. What the problem I have with, in all due respect, with your thesis about what Black people do is you're still going to be relying on white people to basically like that, because there's nothing you're going to do in North America in the hemisphere. Do you ever heard of Monroe Doctrine?
What are you talking? You obviously didn't hear what I said.
No, what I'm saying. Let me ask you a question. Brother. We're having a discussion, right?
Yeah.
You ever heard, do you know what the Monroe Doctrine is? And the Roosevelt Monroe. You know what the Monroe Doctrine is?
No, I've never heard of it.
Okay, the Monroe Doctrine was by President James Monroe, right? That's what basically made America the superpower, right? It said that any sort of activity by Europeans or any sort of thing in the Western Hemisphere that the United States deems a threat, the United States Navy, whatever, has the right to intervene anywhere in this hemisphere that they consider a threat to their future and their posterity, right? And then President Theodore Roosevelt went further. He had the Roosevelt correlate. He went there and took the Panama Canal. He went there and basically changed elections in Mexico. The United States, basically, the reason why you have all these poverty in Central America is because the United States had basically bullied and basically had all these people in poverty for generations, right? The United States, if you could do anything outside of America, right? The United States don't care. But once you in this hemisphere, whether it's when the United States invaded Grenada in 1983, the United States sanctioned on Cuba, there's no reason for a sanction on Cuba. So anything you try to do, right, you have to do it outside the United States. Because if you do it inside the United States, you are going to fail. You know, that's just the honest to God truth. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to candy coat you no more. You know, all these high dreams of building something in your homeland where I know, Mississippi, these are not our lands. This is not our country for doing that. You know, and so therefore, if you want to do something, build something, everything, you got to get off this hemisphere and building on the African continent. That's the only way it's going to work. Now, you talk about building land and everything like that. You know, if you can go to the Congo and say the United States government, say, I got something for you. If the United States, have land in the Congo, right? And I would say the United States, if you want to make it right with us, whatnot, we want $50 billion a year in reparations for our government. I doubt if they'll do that, but I know the only way we're going to get reparations is by force. And one day that Afrikstan, the African government is strong enough to force it. And America, we bring America to its knees. That's the only way America is going to give you reparations. It's not going to give you reparations through no California legislature. It's not going to give you no reparations through the Democratic Party. I am so sick and tired. It's not going to, when you're marching, protesting, and all that stuff is a bunch of nonsense led by people like Tariq Nasheed and Yvette Carnell. They're just leading people astray. The only reason why they're talking that stuff is because they want to undermine this real nation building movement that we're having right now. That's the only reason why. They know that they got a shit chance in hell of getting anything from this United States government. It's never going to happen. You know?
Well, when you just asked me about Liberia, you didn't finish saying about Liberia.
Okay, I know all about Liberia. What do you want? It's not a Liberia show tonight.
But you were telling me something and you stopped.
Okay, I said in Liberia, when Liberia was founded, right, they declared their independence. These are the most remarkable black men in the world founded Liberia, right? They had the McGills, the Draytons, the J.J. Roberts. They had Hillary Teague. They had Elijah Johnson, the strongest black men in the world settled in Liberia, and they built that republic, you know, and declared their independence. These were strong black men. And the Liberia, people don't realize this, right? Liberia's manifest destiny said, we're going to basically bring our brothers here to this continent, and we're going to wage war against the Europeans on the continent. Liberia was supposed to extend all the way into the Congo. People don't realize Liberia's sovereignty was supposed to extend all the way down through the Congo as one great empire, but we never made it over there to do that, So the bottom line is this: history would have turned out differently. Had that happened right now, Africa and the black race would be a different place right now. But we stayed in America, right? While you look at the Asians, right? They had the war. The Chinese kicked the Europeans out of Shanghai and everything. There was there's nothing changed in Africa in I don't know how many years. There's been no change. The only thing that changed was they gave.
Will they accept us in America working on behalf of Liberia? Do they accept if we decide to be over here working to help Liberia?
We're already doing that. We're already doing that, bro.
Okay, that's the point. Okay, so in America, what do Liberians enjoy that we do over here to prove to them we support them?
If you join our social network, you'll understand that we work with Liberians all the time, man. I'm engaged with Liberians. I go to Liberia. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line, Liberians and Black America has already been building together. Brother Bomani is doing a tour with one of our Liberian sisters and everything. We had a guy, Great African. He gave us his story. He came on, took up 2 weeks ago, and we was talking about Liberia and its history and everything. We have Liberian scholars that join us and everything. Liberia is a citadel of pan-africanism in the African continent. Liberia is where the OAU was formed. Okay. Garveyites settled in Liberia right now, and they helped form the OAU in Liberia, and that's what basically happened, And so, therefore, Liberia was a country in Africa founded by African Americans, and then facilitated and built up by Black pipeline. Liberia was strong because it had a pipeline to Black America. All Liberians, heads of state, and everything, and leaders were educated in Black HBCUs in America. So Liberia, the Black fraternities are in Liberia. All chapters of Black fraternities, Black sororities are in Liberia. And so Liberia has always been a part of an extension of Black America. You go to Liberia, they have the same church. The African Methodist Episcopal Church, the Baptist Church. They got the Muslims. They got Nation of Islam. They got all this stuff like that. It's a little part of Black America in Africa. So the bottom line is this, all these things were talked about. But this idea that we're going to build... I said, Jack said, college takes Tariq, refusing why Tariq reaches more people in college. Well, yeah, I would say the reason why Tariq reaches more people than me, because Tariq's an entertainer. He's an entertainer. I give that to him. He's going to always reach more people than me. I'm not, I don't say things that make people laugh and like that. He's an entertainer. He's a jokester.
How many books have you written, Kala? Where are they available?
I wrote several books, but I only got one published.
Okay, where is that available?
On Amazon.
Are you making that available to us?
Oh, you can buy it on Amazon.
What about Brother Bomani? Bomani, yeah. Why we ain't building bonds like that? Why you got it some way somebody could plug into him so you can get the money instead of Amazon? Ooh.
Dude, and that's not how things work, bro.
Why? Why not? You wrote the book.
That's not business.
It's just a suggestion, brother.
It's a suggestion, but it's not business, bro. It's not practical.
It's not practical business to use the people on the site.
This publishing company published my book, right?
Okay.
You buy the book and whatnot, and you buy the book. I get a royalty. Down the line, I get a royalty. I didn't write this book to make money. I wrote this book just so that this story history, the Exodus of 1878, which is a true story, which I put in fiction, was an event in history that was erased in history. It was a movement.
Okay, can you put it across so I can see it again? Can you put it across so I can see it, not just in front of you, because I can't read that. I can't see on the screen.
Hey, Bomani, you got the flyer. Let me send Bomani a flyer, and maybe.
Thank you.
I'll text it. And right now, let me unmute our brother Talib.
Yes. Thank you very much, Bomani, and peace and blessings, brothers and sisters in the talk, in the panel, and in the chat. I've been on your panel before, Bomani, and I thank you again for coming back, allowing me to come back to speak. Just wanted to put my 2 cents in, and try to add to the conversation, which is a good very, very good conversation. It has a lot to do with what we need to be doing and especially, you know, your movement in the brother Kala, and trying to push forward for building us and empowerment for African people, African diasporans, African repats, all the whole nine, the FBAs, the ADOS, the Pan-African, any ideologies we fall in or labels, whatever. Just the fact that we are descendants of Africa, we are black people, as you know, in a symbolic way. We're not black like an onyx stone, but we're black in that manner. But that we have to raise ourselves up at any means necessary. That's what Malik Al-Shabazz, aka Malcolm X, that's one of his main famous statements. But you can take that in your own terms and look at it in a way, not just on a militant level, but on a level of that we got to do what we got to do. We got to get it done. We have a lot of work to do, and we're going to have a lot of work to do. Some of us are not going to live to the point where maybe we get to see a whole lot more progress done on that work or as a result of that work. So whatever ways we can do it at any means necessary, not just to come at each other and put each other down, as long as we're not doing anything that is a detriment to the movement of pushing us forth and pushing us forward to be building economically. I mean, all the levels that we discuss in these platforms, and your platform included, and yours is a very, very progressive platform, and I appreciate it, what your works that you do, Bomani and Kala, because it's more for the economics. That's a big scale. That's one of the scale levels that is a major thing, because this is what holds us back in so many ways. But again, the mental issues and the problems of us going back and forth at each other, and one trying to be up in a position and say we're right and you're wrong, that's going to hold us back too. So we got to see what's the benefit of what each other are doing. So if FBA is doing something here, or ADOS groups or movements are doing something here to build here, and then help to create that pipeline for the Pan-Africanists that are going over, whatever ideology you on, period, going over and trying to establish that pipeline, then let's work together on that. Do what you can, do what you're able. I've learned through my faith, as one of the merits of my faith, dealing with brotherhood and in our faith, and dealing with position and leadership. And they tell us one of the main things is when it comes to leadership, and even the brotherhoods that are, you know, they're electing leadership, is that the person who's going to be in leadership is a person who has knowledge and specializes in that area. So if he's, let's say, he might not even be leadership in the sense of a political leader, but leadership in the sense of skilled labor. So he might be a high skilled set type of person, like an electrician. He's an electrician. He studied. He spent years. He learned that profession. He learned that skill. So now he's going to lead journeymen, or he's going to lead people who are learning electrician, you know, and go forth. But then you have within the group of the people who are trying to build together to build a nation, you got a person who's a mason. He building better than an electrician. The electrician don't know that. But he's not going to tell the electrician, no, I'm the one who's building this. I'm the builder. You're just the one who puts the electric in. No, let that electrician do his job and stay in his place. He's got his position. This is what he was elected to be. And the other person is elected to be in that position according to their skill, according to their specialization. You understand? So then we can keep moving, and there's no stopping and no, standing still, arguing amongst each other, not getting the job done. And I learned that just on a level of blue collar labor work, as a construction worker, seeing that, sometimes the people, supervisors, foremen, they might be arguing, and they're from different, specializations of skills, and the job gets prolonged because of it, especially they get into fights. So this is the point that I'm making. We got to work together to the best of our ability, what our skills are. It's a good conversation. We got a dialogue so we can get past this stuff. But I'm just hoping eventually.
Brother Tyler, let me ask you a question. Now, we on the BAIO.
Bomani, I've been very patient. Bomani, I've been very patient.
Jugga, let me say this one thing. In the BAIO, we have a skilled labor group. We have an engineering group. We have all this stuff like that. And basically, we're trying to say that the Pan-African movement, right? We want the best people or socialize first. This is like first of the thing, we got to socialize together. We got to get our difference out,
right?
We are and stuff like this, right? Because it's hard when we're basically programmed like robots to be for the white man, and then when we try to be the black man, everybody wants to be the boss. and everything.
Right.
Go ahead, Jughead. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Yeah, greetings, brother Truth. Greetings, Tabala Rasa. Greetings to both of you. The new
Greetings to you
panelists.
too.
Yeah. Before Tabula came on, I was just comments what my brother Kala said about selling. I mean, that trope is old now. I have to defend our people. You know, we're all Africans there. Africans are not still Africans. What happened was, according to John Henry Clark, it was the bastards that sold you. I mean, who are the bastards? During the 1500s, in West Africa, the Portuguese were sailing up and down West Africa, capturing black women and raping them on the islands of West Africa. Their offspring was selling blacks. It wasn't only blacks selling blacks. That's a lie given by whites to try and keep us divided. Blacks were not selling blacks. That's a fallacy. So we got to keep repeating that trope. It's not true. We captured. We're involved. Yeah, we captured blacks. Yeah, that wasn't true, and that's terrible. We owe reparations to the diaspora form of land. We owe Africans definitely from citizenship, grants, and land. Definitely, right part of the slave trade. We didn't sell you. That was the mulattoes. The same mulattoes that betrayed Dessalines, same mulattoes that betrayed Nat Turner, them obviously. It was the so-called bastards. That's what Jeremy Clark said. Well, before he passed away, I think in '96, he was writing a book about them, but he passed away. But he mentioned them. He called them the bastards of history. They've always been falling outside. Those mulattoes that came in amongst us, whispered, and then whispered back to the slave master.
And the homie was a mulatto king. People don't realize that. The princes and stuff like that were all mixed race and stuff like that. And so same thing with Guinea-Bissau. You know, there was elite among the Portuguese sent their mixed race people back. You know,
I hadn't finished, Kala. I hadn't finished. Well, thanks anyway. Thank you for what I said. But that's one point. That's about to Bola's point about how we can move forward. See, it's about economics. As soon as you start pulling out resources, as Kala said, you know, we're not moving. Our progress is slow because we don't pull out resources yet. We can't put them in our pockets. We're slow to do that. We need to build, infrastructure, housing, land. That takes finance, Bola. So we do that, building the trust of each other, and transparency. That would happen. Like my brother Bomani, he was robbed by some groups in England, in UK. I know them very well. Some crook called Prophet Kwaku robbed him. You know, I mean, and Bomani's being a warrior that he is, he progressed. So what it is amongst our people, there are people that are fake pan-Africanists that come amongst us and steal from their own people. That's the problem, Bola. We've got a lot of fake. I call them $9 note pan-Africans. Not pan-Africans. They're fake. They're fakers. Fakers are $9 notes. They're fake. They look like us. And they come amongst us and steal from us and impede our progress due to their treachery and their thievery. But we keep moving. But we keep moving forward. You know, that's why, as council, we've been slow progress because until we start building that trust and transparency, there'll be no progress. So it will come because when the economy starts crashing, and when the West, blacks will be forced to stay. We can't depend on the white men anymore. We have to depend on each other. Right now, here in the UK and America, blacks are very comfortable, as Kala said, and most blacks are very, very selfish. You know, we're just me, very individualistic. But when that system crashes or crumbles, that'll force us to work together. You see that? So hard times will force integration amongst each other, Tabula, because right now we're too comfortable. That's a problem, Tabula. We're too comfortable, individualistic. That's a problem.
But I believe that either way it goes, the system without white males, the taxation and the way the system works, it's when people have been taxed. They have had so many programs like Raptor. They spent so much money on the military and different things, but the amount of taxes people paid built billions of dollars worth of things we didn't need, and we would have control over that. So it's not that the taxation is wrong, it's the people that are in power that want to live off the taxes and burn the money up in wars and different things we never needed. So if they would have took the tax and never had the wars and building a war machine, this place would function beautifully. People would be able to, right now, you don't have to pay tax for the next 10 years and keep your profit. And we start tax because of the amount of revenue people have generated, given the tax revenue, how much it generated, but all the programs that never worked, all the military bases and things we never needed, all the $13 billion aircraft carriers. We don't need all that. But if we had control over what people are willing to pay. That's all I'm saying. How do you think it would work then? Jughead.
Well, these people are gonna build these machines, you know, because it's like necessary evil. It's like, you know, if someone else have a bunch of aircraft carriers, a bunch of war machines, and you have nothing, you're getting conquered, you're getting invaded, you're getting taken over.
But I want to add to that, right?
Go ahead.
Years ago, back
Can I go after you? Go ahead, bro.
2004, right? I was working security, right? Armed security down Portsmouth, right? You know, on the wharves. And I used to, my job was to patrol the parking garages and the wharfs and everything. But right there on County Street, right there on the water. And I remember one time I was like, I worked the overnight shift. I remember one time I was dozing off in my car and I sat there and one of the battleships was right there, right? And up close, the first time even though I've been on the base and everything like that, right? And I seen the size of those guns, right? The guns were like pointed out to sea, right? And I saw the size of those guns and whatnot. I said, those are earth-moving guns. That can destroy civilization. That can blow up buildings, blow up whole streets and cities and everything. And then it dawned on me back then, right? And you see guys over there because it was going to be pulled over to the area where they do the maintenance on it, right? I said, whoever designed that ship and whoever, these people are serious about their shit. That shit right there says that I knew back then. I said, look, this is why I'm in, why I'm like that. This idea, you're going to rise up in America. You're going to get some land. You're going to get your reparations. Those people have weapons to annihilate you off this planet, you know? And so the bottom line, I looked at that ship real up close. I don't know why it affected me like that. I said, my God, look at the size of that ship, man. I'm looking up like, wow. I'm looking up like this. I'm in my car. I'm like looking up and I see the guns sticking up and I see the bow and everything like that, you know, the radar and everything. I said, whoever built that ship means business.
Yeah, brother, I had to live on it for 6 months. That is the realest thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Yo, that's they're not playing.
They will never end their right. They will never end their right to be in the position they're in. If they ever used all the weapons they have, they would lose out because they wouldn't have an earth to live on.
I don't believe that, bro.
They would have done it already. They would have just gotten rid of all the black people in Africa and took the land if they really want that.
They don't want the land. The whole thing is, we're trying to tell you, they don't care about you in Africa. That's the beauty about it. They care about what's going on in America. That's what they care. They don't care about what we do in Africa.
But did you hear what you just said? They still are not going to blow up this whole planet.
No, I'm
They're
saying
not ever going to do that.
What I'm trying to say is this. If you think that there's going to be some all-out war in America, you're going to grab your piece of America.
COVID proved that. COVID virus proved the COVID outbreak shutting the country down proved that they don't have that power because they couldn't handle three. These people were having problems 3 weeks into the COVID outbreak. They were having were you here when it happened? Actually, did you see how people were acting?
Well, I can say that the powers that be, you know, it's on like a matrix level. Where, you know, you're going up against the majority, like he said, the guns and the power that they have, and that stuff is covert. You know, we don't know who did the COVID, and you know, it started in China. We don't know who's doing all these maneuvers, who's going on in nefarious maneuvers. So we have to look and check and see and go around like Morpheus and his crew, and then rise up like Neo. You know what I mean?
If America is not moving, it's nothing.
Pan-African shuffle. These people are not playing with us, man.
But if America is not moving, it's nothing. So if they're not going to annihilate everybody in America, they're not going to do that. That's mental.
They're not going to be able to do that because the Creator ain't going to allow that.
We're talking about black liberation, liberating black people.
Order. Come on. Finish.
Go ahead, Jug.
No, let Kala finish. I got the Kala.
What I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is this. The discussion tonight is black excellence and everything like that moving forward, right? There's nothing we can do we're behind enemy lines. We're in America. That's just the way it is, right? And so the bottom line is we're saying that it's time for Black America to expand beyond America. If you can have an Islamic state, if you can have a Jewish state, a Zion state, you can have an African estate. That's what we're talking about.
That's correct.
And the brother talked about Liberia one night. If you're interested in Africa and you think you like that, I would say get involved in Africa, Liberia, the Congo, and everything. Make that your base of operations and whatnot. You know, this idea that you're gonna get. And I said there's two Black Americas. There's a Black America who gets it, and there's somebody that's Black America. And basically, there's Black America X. Black America X is going to keep finding a problem for every solution, and basically keep going the thing. And I'm gonna say this hurt some people's feelings, right? The Black America X, we got a lot of people convinced about reparations. They have no ability. And they said, let me hear this. They always say Japanese got reparations. Let me clear this myth up right here on this show. The Japanese did not get reparations. They got compensation, right? They didn't get reparations, right? Because if you take what the Japanese, 100,000 of them lost in World War II, that would be in the billions of dollars. Japanese got like a $20,000 pay cut of some of them, right? Of the property they lost. The only reason why that was done is because it was basically the end of the Cold War. Japan was telling the U.S. you have to remove your bases because there was uprising in China. South Korea was unstable. And the
That was Korean.
Asia was volatile. So
Yeah,
Japan was like looking at America like, yeah, well, I think it's the time for us to remove the bases here and everything. And so that was a political cover for the Japanese American Association in Japan to say, because Ronald Reagan was driven out of South Korea at the time. South Korea had a military government, and Ronald Reagan reneged on the promise of democracy and everything. And so all the schism was caused in Asia because the Cold War was collapsing, right? Ronald Reagan said to the Japanese, what can we do to keep relationships? Well, we got these Japanese for 40 years who lost their property in World War II. Guess what? Guess what they signed that on? It was a Civil Rights Bill of 1988 that was supposed to do something for Black people, right? You say civil rights, right? They stuck a rider on that bill, giving Japanese compensation, a civil rights bill. You know what a rider is? A rider is not written in the original articles of the verbiage of the law. It's just something they stick on top of a bill to basically that's not can be line item, and they just pass it through. It's literally a sticker with a law saying like this, and they stick it on the bill. Oh, by the way, that's what lobbyists do. Stick this on that bill that's getting ready to go through. It has nothing to do with the original bill, but it's something they want to get through, a temporary something they want to get through, but put in the law. That's why the Japanese got that money, you know? And so Black people in America, right? Why? Because Japanese, when they did get that, right? They got it because they had a government operating on their behalf, right? Same thing with the German. The Jews had to pay. Germany had to pay billions of dollars restitution to who? Israel. They didn't pay it to Jewish families. There was a state of Israel, and what they do with that money? They built the state of Israel. They built the infrastructure of the state of Israel, settling Jews. Even though a lot of them had false claims, Germany had to pay billions and billions of dollars out to its victims of World War II. Same thing with Japan. Japan had to pay billions and billions of dollars out to China and all these other people. You only pay reparations when you lose a war. Now, had Japan won the war, right, America would be paying billions of dollars to Japan and all the stuff like this. You see how it works? You in America at their mercy. You are never going to be able to force America to pay you anything.
Correct. Well, come in there. Yeah, Carlos, right. I mean, predators do not submit to the weak. Predators do not submit to the disciplined, disorganized. The strong, the strong negotiate with the strong. That's his nature. That's his common sense. That's his intelligence. Now, what Carlos said before, and Brother Truth, about the guns. See the problem with our predicament because we're not serious. The black man, the yellow man. I'm talking about the majority, not us. We're the minority. For the most part, the black man, the yellow man on the planet. That's not serious. The Chinese were serious. The Japanese man was serious. When they bust up the Russians in the Russian-Silent War, 1904, 1905, they weren't playing. When when the Afghans fought the Russians in '79, the USSR, they weren't playing. Little Vietnam fought the French for 2 decades. 2 decades. After that fighting, Little Vietnam fought America for 10 decades. That's 3 decades back to back with 2 European powers. 3 decades of fighting. Vietnam were not playing. Little Korea went toe to toe with America from 1950 to 1953. Little Korea. Koreans are not playing. Black man, yellow man, that's playing. That's our problem. We're not serious.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. I'm not saying I'm talking the majority. The other people are serious. People like the Lumumbas, the Steve Bikos, the colored Mohammeds, the Malcolm X's, but we're the minorities. That's a problem. The cows outnumber the real ones. That's a problem.
And Jughead, let me add to that, brother. Here's the thing. America, Africa, we got into democracy and elections prematurely. The majority of Black people around the world were not ready for that Western style democracy. We try to have these Western style governments, right? What we should have had was a technocracy, like China had. Look at the Communist Party in China. I'm not a communist and everything. I'm not a dictator or anything. But Africa should have had that the Supreme Council of Nationalistic Governments, right? We call Africa.
Yes.
That basically want to build industry, infrastructure, everything, and education. You produce a certain amount of engineers, certain amount of scientists, everything. You're unapologetically pro your country. How can you have that Africa where most Africans, the most coveted thing is getting a visa going overseas? And believe in it. Like we had this global citizenship thing last week. Africans have bought into the idea of the global citizen. So you can't be a global citizen and talk about the Afrikstan at the same time. I don't believe in multicultural society. I don't believe.
I haven't finished yet. I haven't finished yet. Thank you for that interjection, but yeah, okay. I mean, brother, just wants to come in. Brother, truth. I know you're eager to come in there. But let me finish my point. That Kala interjected. Yeah, I mean, look, Kala's right in a way. What Kala's saying, we need a strong man because Africa, after colonization, we were fragmented. We need a strong man to pull us together. That's what China had, and the Russians had under Stalin. Now, I'm saying we need a dictator. You're damn right. Kala's correct. Look, Kala, you're a Star Trek fan. You're a Star Trek fan, aren't you? Star Trek. Kala, you're a Star Trek fan?
Well, I used to Kala. You Kirk. When William Shatner was, I never got into
hold it. You know Carnoonian Singh. You know the character Carnoonian Singh, the character, the Superman. The character Carnoonian Singh. That's what Africa needs. That's what Africa needs. A black Superman.
The bottom line is this:
we're so coward and stupid. Older man couldn't do it.
Well, this is the whole thing.
Let me ask you. Industrialization.
Let me tell you this: every time you have a strong leader right now, Paul Kagame. The West is doing everything they can with this virtual signal, trying to tear him down. Why? Because he put his foot down. He said, "Look, man, what that? Oh man, the opposition. Africa's always gonna have opposition. If someone basically has to work a job and he ain't getting enough money in his bank, suddenly he feels like I'm in opposition." These people, these people have unrealistic expectations. A good, strong leader knows how to manage expectations through coercion, fear, or whatever. Look, we don't have it. We know we're supposed to be at this point right here. The Chinese people, the Asian people, countries like this, the nail that sticks his head up gets knocked down, right? They said, look, this is what we have. We have a 50-year plan, 100-year plan. By this 1970s, we should be here. By this, we should be here. By this, we should be here, right? So people realize while they're working hard in their factories and everything like that, they say like this is for the greater good of the country. Asians know how to discipline their societies where they work hard for a common good. See, in the West, this is a problem we have with the Black people in the West, right? We have white people's expectations, right? We're basically white people in our expectations. In other words, check us out. This is what the problem is, right? Like I say, this is the problem. A lot of people are not gonna like when I say this, right? I said this earlier today on Dynasty Show, right? The Black man, I don't believe in that crack like this. My generation, Generation X, right? We didn't want to work in the factories and give it one more generation than our fathers did.
Correct.
We were spoiled. So a lot of our people went into drugs. We wanted to be a drug dealer, a rap star, a basketball player, or something like this. I remember even the movie. Remember the movie Crush Groove? Running his father and DMC went into the church. He said, "Why don't you, Dad? I don't want to work in I don't want to work in no thing the rest of my life and whatnot." The movie CD4. Remember that man? His father was a working class. Nah, I want to be a rap star. That was big in the 80s. We didn't want to do the same thing our dads did. We were too good to work that blue collar job. We needed one more generation of hard work and everything like that. And because of that, a lot of companies left America. We left America and said, I don't want to work these jobs and everything. We were told that, and even though when I was in college, right? they made it seem like when I was going to college, like, oh, your dad's a blue collar guy, you know. So what? I remember the white kids, they had fathers that worked on Wall Street, they're white collar and everything. There was this big downplay of blue collar people, black. I said, I'm a blue collar. My father's a blue collar, but we made good money though. My father, but I was blue collar, and I didn't want to be blue collar. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm talking about? Still coming in? You know, so we wanted to do everything. That's why our generation, Generation X, screwed up so bad. Even though we produced a lot of money, but look what we sold out. We produced Puff Daddy, but look what we sold. We sold our soul. You know, we sold our soul. We sold who we are. You know, just for fame and money, and they think they still
desires.
You know what I'm saying? This. Go ahead, brother Talib.
Yeah, but you're right, Kala. You know, because the thing is that we didn't take that foundation of building ourselves up, hard work, blue collar, whatever. What, you know, like look at the top, you know, billionaires and multi-billionaires today that gained a lot from these hard blue collar workers. They always say that, and they'll say that even in the job that I work at this point in time right now, until, you know, things change, I hope, financially. But they're always saying in the meetings, or corporate sends down letters, and we thank you, and we thank you guys. You are the foundation of our business and our, you know, this and that, and our establishment. You helped us get to where we are, and they really mean that. But these people don't see it and take it like, oh wow, they're using us. They've been using us to be rich all these time, but they take it like, oh, I feel good. Yeah, I'm part of the establishment. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. But if we was to do that and take that mindset without, like Kala saying, with ourselves, we'd be on a whole nother level and say, okay, well, we got to build that manufacturer workforce. We got to build that manufacturing workforce for us. We got to be patient. We can't be hasty.
I studied the Japanese, right? What the Japanese do is this, right? They make like Mitsubishi Sumitomo. When you join Sumitomo, right, as a worker, they make you are now part of the Sumitomo family,
right?
They like family, so you give your whole life. You gonna work hard, whatever, like that. You know, Mitsubishi. You ain't just an employee. You are now Mitsubishi. You are Mitsubishi.
They make homes for them. They make homes for them and everything, and
you know,
I hear you, bro.
We're talking about what's needed for the Pan-African movement, right? We need our own industrialists, right? But the thing is, I know for a fact of the matter, the working part, I have to come from the African continent, because I know Negroes in America, right? Nobody wants to be like, yo, you were not going to work for a black man, you know, like you would a white man. I just know it. So we're gonna have to. So the Pan-African movement is essential, because a lot of the working people who want to come into the working industrial world are gonna come from Africa. I talked to people when I was in Africa. They're like, man, I would love to have an industrial job. I said, stuff that you couldn't get black people in America to do. They're like, man, I wish I had a job I can go to like that. I wish we wish we had an industrial. So all we want to do is work hard. You know, what I'm saying? We look at old movies of Black America coming home with the hard hats and everything. They said that's the life we want.
Yeah, over here in America, you're like over here in America, is each one teach one. We're not going to get to reach out to everybody, because some people are not going to want to hear it. And we know that. I mean, any of us here who's sitting here have to be honest. You can go to the average young buck in the street, because I'm from the streets, and I came up, got out of that, went to school, got myself together, married, and got out of that lifestyle. But I know about that. So you come up to the wrong young buck, he's going to be like trying to roast you out, and then might threaten you, get away from me with that, bull crap. I ain't on that. I'm trying to get money out here. You know what I'm saying? That's real talk. Experience.
That's why I come at them at a level where I'm getting money. I understand where you're coming from, my brother Talib. That's why
not everybody. I'm not saying every young buck, but I'm saying you're going to run into that.
But that's why you have to speak to their money game as far as economics and opportunities. But everything is related to, you know, you have to keep it relevant to them getting their money.
Yeah.
And it's still a whole different generation of
it's those who you can reach. That some minds are reachable and some are not. That's how I my point of view of it, you know.
Brother Talib, let me say this, right? And people keep coming at the situation like, oh, look, the bottom line is, and rightfully so, right? Everybody wants upper mobility. You know, that's what part of it. If you're in America, you see like that, you want to get rich, you want to get better, right? A lot of it has nothing to do with dire poverty, right? Like I said, there's Black America and Black America X. Black America X, for the most part, will get rich or die trying. You know, they want to go for it and everything like that. You know, and the bottom line is this: when you approach them and everything, you know, and somebody says, "Yo, I gotta, you can rap halfway decent. I got an advance of $500,000 if you do this, and you say this, and everything." They're gonna do it. You can say satanic, you can say homosexual lyrics, satanic lyrics. You can say kill this nigga, kill that nigga, and whatnot. Like Charles White said, Jew influenced rap. I said, damn, Jew rap. He said because the bottom line is they what sells the most is the most degrading shit to your people.
And that's the trending bandwagon syndrome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the bandwagon. Yeah, the bandwagon. Whatever they're doing, look what everybody else is playing. They're playing kill this nigga, fuck that nigga, rob his shit. Where's the ops at? They get all the lingo and they put a rap record together and whatnot, you know? And all they do is get the little white girls and the white kids in the suburbs to download that shit and stream it. And we got a mess on our hands. White people, the proximity to white America is never gonna be good for black people. You know, because they're gonna always support Black America X, the ignorant and the like that. The Black America, the real Black America, is basically hated. Well, you would think white people, if they were honorable, they would like Black America, right? And they would despise Black America X. But I always know they love that ratchet shit in black people. You know, they love it. You know, because they themselves, like I said, they themselves are ratchet. They themselves are niggas. White people are niggas. You know?
Yeah. Yep. They were brought over here. They were brought over here for that. The crown opened up this territory, and white people are basically owned by the crown, no matter what they look like over here, no matter what.
I don't know about
and
that, man.
we haven't exalted ourselves to living better. There's people that just want good family and good life. They're not trying to get rich, but they still want a nice place to live and be able to take care of their family. If we adjust our minds to thinking about family structure, even if it's not together. If we as black men think about that single black female needs what? She's the leader of the family that she have. We raise those children to believe in family based on her. If we just adjust our mind, the black family is black people, and we don't think about black male, female in a union only. And until it become that, we're still good. Because those black children are going to look at the black man that say, well, I believe your mother is doing a great job and I'm helping you. So when you grow up and you have a wife, it's because I believe in black family. We don't have to worry about stats or who wants to be super rich. It's not about rich. It's about the balance of us all being able to chase what we want to chase and be united. And that's what I really believe in.
We're so screwed up in our culture. Black people, I have nothing. This is like this is how we fall into this trap, right? When you say stuff like that, they say, "Oh, you're a hater," or "You want to be like this," or what you don't. Then let's say by a billion chance they do get rich. See, I should have listened to your ass, right? But the whole thing is, we say like this: you know, it's all right for you to get rich, but you are the same. Let me say something, right? Controversial. A lot of people ain't gonna like when I say this, right? I was watching this thing on like when you talk about like a lot of rich people, billionaires and everything. And what gets them that thing is they like the basic things. You know, a lot of rich people, super people, they got all the money in the world. They like the basic things, the family, prayer, and who they are, their roots, their culture and everything like that, you know? And so therefore their value system and everything is more important than money and everything. When you see black people, right, rich, super rich, they don't give a shit about no value system, you know, like David Chappelle and that Ashley Larry. Remember he said, "Yeah, I want to give all my money to the community." Psych. Remember that? Dave Chappelle. Anyway, but the bottom line is they basically are super rich and everything, and they're so disconnected. But when you see a lot of white people that are billionaires and everything, a lot of times you won't even know they're super rich. They go back in the family, their culture. They'll talk about their Scottish heritage. My ancestors, they'll do a trilogy. My ancestors fought in World War II, Battle of Bunker Hill, and everything like that. Black people who are rich are so disconnected, throw their heritage and throw it with like Black America, all just nothing but trash, and they don't want nothing to do with. You know, that's the difference. And
No, super white over here wants to use black. They have a different outlook on life. If I'm super rich and I don't want black people to know I'm super rich, I have white people to help me. There's white people making sure you don't know who's rich over here.
I know that.
The black man and woman becoming rich in America, it's a different station that's becoming rich. They're trying to be like them. So we don't get bogged down by the blacks that don't believe in us. What we're trying to do is get to the point where we can control community. Whites have a different outlook on them ruling over us than us becoming who we are. We're trying to unite, like the title, it's about us building black excellence. As long as we're working on black excellence, that's the point. Not if a white person who don't think like us, they're not going to tell you they're rich because they know if they talk white people, their own people would disrespect them. Their own people that's nigger, more nigger than black people would disrespect them. So it's a politician move to act like they believe in family and God. You wouldn't be a capitalist if you believe in family and God. But that's what they can play on the people that they believe in that, because we believe that instead of, like you say, let's focus on black excellence. What we got to do to unite the people and strengthen the people and build. That's what we on. Them being who they are, that's a lie, because white people finding out you're rich, they're going to destroy them. They hate them. That's why they did Trump like that.
Yeah.
They disrespected Donald J. Trump and wanted to give them money. He trying to give them money and they still kicked him out of office. And look who they put there. What was that for?
Joe Biden.
God.
Sabula, the problem is manhood and patriarchy. The serious people practicing patriarchy works. Arabs, Asians, Europeans, they're patriarchal. They build patriarchy. We're matriarchies. Matriarchy does not build. I love matriarchy for women, but for men, that doesn't work. We have matriarchy and weak leadership. It's our position. The successful groups, look at them, Asians, Arabs, Europeans, they're all patriarchal. Patriarchal builds and protects and defends and creates. That's what patriarchy does.
Also, the patriarchy.
I'll finish it, Kala. Patriarchy builds. Until we get back to that unapologetic manhood, which we're not doing now, we got to say to women, look at women, men lead. That's the sexism. That's nature. That's nature. That's biology. They want empire, nation built by women. I'll wait. Women don't build. Men do. So until we get back to that mindset, we're not going to move forward. I'll finish that.
Yeah, what do you think about the fact the Queen's gone? Who was getting ready to speak? I don't mean go.
Me.
Okay, well, what do you think about the fact the Queen's gone and her son? Just think about that, Jughead. After Kala, think about the Queen, the difference in the Queen, what her real mindset was, and what her son's mindset is. Can you speak on that after Kala?
Hey, why are you talking bad about my queen?
Who's that? Who's that?
Money.
No. I'm saying the way she was. Look at the way she was. I used to look at clips of her. She got some of the deepest sarcasm. She wasn't weak, and she be in a crowd of people. She tried to control the crowd. She had a presence about herself that was different. I'm saying, what do you think about her and her son? Because she was like, this is mommy's thing, now her son's there. What do you think about that? Mama's boy is on it now. Do you think he's going to be as powerful as her? Just since you know since you understand the crown and you understand that. It's just a question.
Yeah. Is that something else to Kala? Tabula. Who's the question towards? To me or to Kala? Who's the question towards?
Bohemian know about it, but it's to you since you all are more in that vein.
I don't know anything about the British. I know a lot about the British Empire. I'll keep
it short. Tabula, the Queen was strong. She wasn't weak. You can't be a queen and be weak. She was strong and very popular. King Charles now, he's King Charles III. He will not be as popular. King Charles is not popular as the Queen. The Queen was loved over here, not by me, but she was part of the fabric of society. She's been well missed. But King Charles, he's a long way to go. He's not respected as much as the Queen. Nowhere near. He won't be as beloved as she was. That's my answer to that.
What do you think his legacy going to be? Just like following the way she was, what she did in Africa. She helped Kwame Nkrumah. She helped that society. She was very politically savvy. How she used her crown.
Who did she really help? No,
I'm not saying help. I'm just saying she did it to uphold the crown. The way she was politically upholding the crown while he was trying to be independent, like he was trying to push pan-africanism, and she ended up raising money to help the pan-africanist movement, like helped them in their country. that's a political move.
Well,
But
let
I'm
me
just saying he was very wise.
let me answer that. Right, Kwame Nkrumah was very smart. What facilitated a lot of that was the fact that Liberia was the only independent black republic. So when the Queen of England went to Tubman, visit Tubman, somebody said Tubman boned her. You know, that's the rumor going around. Tubman bent her over and shit. That's I don't know. But anyway, she went to Liberia and like the bottom line is at the time these countries were seeking independence. But you got to understand something. When we talk about independence, right? There's no such thing in them handing over independence. That he was made prime minister, right? And Ghana was called the Gold Coast, right? And what they had was this idea that okay, you can govern yourself. They know Africans on the whole like being in charge. I'm gonna tell you, look, let's just break it down tonight. Let's just get down, you know. Aside from navigate, man, you know, a coon like navigating the chat room right here. We're all black men here, real black men. Let's just talk, right? Black men love being symbolically in power. The bottom line, all over Africa, right? If you are robbing them blind, everything, as long as they get to have a presidential motorcade, as long as they get to have the bodyguard, as long as they get to have this stuff like that, they call head of state, they get to be on the press and everything like that in the Western newspapers, they know that's satisfying. Kwame Nkrumah wanted more, right? And that's why they ended up ousting him, you know? Same thing, the Europeans were more successful with Mobutu Sese Seko. They're robbing the Congo blind, but they made him a billionaire, right? So long as they're basically doing that bidding, and you're the El Presidente, and you get to attend the big, you host all these lavish things, everything, you can live like a king, you know? That's what they think of Africa, you know? They did the thing, they tried to do the thing with Idi Amin, but Idi Amin had other plans, you know? Milton and Bolte said, we got to do all the social stuff. They got rid of him and brought in Idi Amin. You know, Idi Amin, they turned on Idi Amin and they eventually got rid of him. You know, same thing happens all over Africa. You know, all they have to do is play to our ego. Same thing happened right now. Look at all these African leaders, countries failing, but they won't miss a free meal at the Brussels a couple of months ago. They won't miss a free meal at the Queen's funeral. They all show up to eat free meal and pictures and making stupid speeches that lead to absolutely nowhere. The Europeans got us pegged, and they're teaching the Chinese and everybody else how to deal with us. Stroke the black man's ego, right? Make him out to be so important that he more is and everything, and you got him. You could come in and rob his country blind and everything, and he won't do it. The late president of Tanzania, you know what he did? He didn't go to a lot of concerts. I forgot his name, Welly. He didn't go to a life conference. He said, man, I'm building my country. I don't have time for all these things that waste a lot of money and everything, like going overseas, talking a bunch of nonsense and leading nowhere. So he didn't go to a lot. I admire him. And look what Tanzania is because of him. You know? And like you got President Otto of Ghana, you know? He got to talk about our current struggle, but he got a freaking personal passenger jet where he jet sits around the world, you know, using the poor Ghanaian's budget, you know, for personal stuff, you know, so that's basically basically the viewpoint I have on that, you know. You build a black man's ego up. You know, ego's a certain thing, man. You know, if you ever see me on the stage, right, we got this new leader in Africa, the Kala Genesis and everything, and I'm being chauffeured around, and I'm like this and everything, and I haven't secured land infrastructure nationhood, you know I sold out. You know, without land infrastructure nationhood for the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, that's the only thing that tells me the world balance of power is going to balance out. Anything else, if you can get a country now, now I understand, right, why Minister Farrakhan never went to Libya. You know, I understand something now. You know, and his wisdom. You know, I was crazy. Why did Gaddafi offer him land? But he knew that he could never really be free and be Minister Farrakhan if he was in because we always talk pan-Africanism, right? But when you're running a state, you have other obligations. Gaddafi had obligations to the Arab League, everything like that contradicts everything. So if you go over there, you say the wrong thing. Hey, whoa, you made a speech, and you know the president didn't like that and everything. You see how it works? So Mr. Farrakhan was right. He was better safer in America, you know, where he had he knew who his opposition is, the United States government. But when you go to a country, right, and you settle in a country, you can't be saying what you want to say. Like a lot of Pan-Africanists, they were around in Ghana and whatnot, but they can't say much about the government. You're handicapped. You can't say much of it. I'm sure a lot of people saying, why is this happening in Ghana, man? You can't say much about that because they got other obligations. You know, Pan-African is not the premier ideology right now. They got more responsibility to the British, the Commonwealth, and now the French and all these other people, the U.S., everything, the Chinese, the Indians, and everything. They got diplomacy. It's called diplomacy. And so therefore, the Pan-African world, we're trying to make Pan-African serious when we can't do it from a position of weakness. We have to be in a position of strength. And that's why the people joining our movement have to come with their A game, you know? And we could gather Black millionaires into these movements and everything, and this movement becomes like a real powerhouse and everything. We could change the political dynamics of Africa in the world, you know? But, you know, what we call listening to people like Navigate in the chat room when we ain't gonna get no place. You know, it's not gonna go far.
Yeah, Kala, we don't need millionaire. Forget Navigate. Forget him. We know that he's semi-serious sometimes. But what we need Kala, Sabula, and Brother Talib and Bomani, we need to pull our resources. We need to trust each other first. What happened to Bomani with the British blacks was disgusting. So I'm on Bomani's side. Bomani, I don't govern it now. Bomani was robbed by some British freaks 3 years ago. He knows what I'm talking about. But that's in the past now. But that's what that impedes our movement. We need transparency and integrity. That's very important. Transparency and integrity. Once you have those two in our members, we'll accelerate. We don't need millionaires. That if it comes, fantastic. We need the ones that are a core group, pull our resources, build out our Garvey towns, step by step, and we need a 3-decade plan. Look, that's what we need, Kala. By 2050 or sooner, we need one country or more in Africa that has structure of a Qatar or Singapore, a space program, and nuclear weapons. That's the target. By 2050, we'll have at least one country in Africa or more that has a space program, high infrastructure like Qatar, Singapore level, and nuclear weapons.
Business
that's the target.
Industrial zones, you know, and all stuff like this, and education centers and everything, global everything that can compete on the level of the Chinese. Everywhere. There was a picture. There's a TikTok going around where they show the African children all in Christian garb praying, right? And they show the Chinese kids with microscopes, everything. They're saying the reason why the Chinese people are going to rule us, but look at the African children. Everybody's focused on whether it's dance or religion, everything. The Asians, man, their kids are in the freaking sciences, technology, everything. Why? Because those minds, an inferior mind,
nation building.
Inferior mind is not going to bow to or respect an inferior mind. It doesn't work. Africa does not have figured that out yet. And people think you're inferior because basically you don't take time. You don't think science and technology and all that stuff, that learning is important and everything. If you don't think modernization is important and everything, they're going to look down at you like you're inferior and they're going to take advantage because they know you're weak and you're desperate.
Colour is worse than that. It's worse than that. Not only that, Colour, that they'll buy up our land by 2050 or more. We're tenants of their own land. What happens? We're finished. If we become tenants of their own land, we're done. Because Colour, someone will ask you guys a question. What do the ruthless landlords that are ruthless, what do they do with tenants that they don't want? Landlords that are ruthless, what do they do with tenants that they want? They don't want. They remove them. Is that not correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the giants, look at those young people, the Falun Gong people. If you do people they consider subhuman, if we become tenants on Africa, we're done. Because that remember, guys, that Ebola outbreak in 2015, that Ebola outbreak in 2015, you know what that was? That was a test run. You know what I said? That Ebola outbreak in 2015, West Africa, that was a test run. I'm telling all Africans, they think I'm playing with them. They haven't looked at Africa. China's population is 1.4 billion. India's 1.4 billion each. By 2030, they need 2 billion each. They need lands and resources to feed that growing population. Guess where they're both going to look? Guess what they're both going to look into? Africa.
Yeah, look at Africa.
India will be 2 billion by. India will be 2 billion by.
They want to wipe Africans out and recolonize it with other races of people, you know?
Correct. Correct. So one thing for Navigator comes in. If we don't get serious on colour, Africa will be Tasmania. I'm warning you. I'm not joking. If we don't get serious, Africa will be Tasmania. You watch. Let me myself down. Let me calm down.
Hey, what you call it? Bomani, I gotta switch things. I'm going downstairs, so I'm gonna come out and come back in. All right.
All right, cool. Rock on. Greetings, Navigate Freely. What's up, brother? You tend to love our program. I hope you're not calling in to disagree with all of our valid points.
Not all of them. Good morning.
Good morning.
Because the valid points I agree wholeheartedly with. Just the invalid ones that I will, express my opinion. I have an opinion just like everyone else. Is just as valid and just as invalid as anyone else's, and I promise you that I will not denigrate anyone just because of their opinion.
Oh, for real? All right, rock on.
But I will. I'm not gonna call anybody coons or idiots or stuff like that. I don't do things like that. We have to think and talk. We have to think and talk for a much better understanding.
Who does that in Navigate?
Who does that for real? Does somebody do that to you, Navigate?
Well, it doesn't affect me because I know exactly who and what I am. So it's just non-productive. It's a non-productive way of communication.
I'm saying, are you playing a victim?
No, I'm not playing a victim. I'm just stating the fact, that I'm not victimized, by stuff like that. That's why I don't do it. I can digress and degenerate to that level as well if I chose to, but I choose to, I chose to speak on a higher level than that, and the topic is about, building up, the motherland, not breaking it down. And I don't think, every, African on the continent, don't want modernization, don't care about science and technology, don't want to move forward, in their infrastructure and all those kind of things. I don't think, they have that attitude at all. As a matter of fact, some of the smartest people, on the planet is from the continent. Some of the greatest inventors and creators ever lived is from the continent. And, and it's going to take a minds and hearts that are continent born, to eventually defeat the system of racism, white supremacy. So, we gotta, as Black Americans and the Blacks in the diaspora, especially the Black Americans, we have to learn how to work with people. We have to develop a new acceptance for one another. This divide and conquer, strategy is still within us, because many of us, we still suffer from plantation psychosis, so, and don't even know it, so we have to learn a new kind of acceptance for one another. We don't have to agree on everything, but just because I disagree with you don't mean I hate you. Just because I disagree with you don't mean I have to put you down. I heard Kala say, earlier today that, we should not be putting each other down. We should be building each other up, but, lots of times, we can say things and, and do the exact opposite. That's called, contradictory, so.
Absolutely, Navigate. There's a question for you on the screen. Mr. IC3 Black Race Code Chess. I've been texting messages for you. It seemed like you have
Mr. IC Black is a sincere brother. I just disagree with him, with his colorism. Black people know they Black. The ones, the ones that know they're Black, and it's hard, to differentiate, by degrees of Blackness. Who's gonna make that determination? You can have a white lady, a Black lady that passes for white, and she's gonna know her exact, degree of Blackness and whatever her exact degree of melanin within her skin. What difference does that make? It don't make any difference. It's not, the color of the skin that's most important.
Yeah, I don't think you'll say that to him in your face.
I would say that to his face. You know, I would say that to his face.
Navigate
The
freely.
most important thing is the content of one's character. I
Navigate
like
freely.
Mr. MC Black, but I don't agree with him. That's all. I just don't
Navigate
agree with him.
freely. Navigate freely. I have a question for Navigate Freely. Off the Richter, when you picked your avatar, what type of plants are that in the backdrop? Where'd
Well,
you get your avatar?
that's my backyard. You know, in the USA. You know,
What
I
type
built
of
the
plant is
privacy
that?
fence around my backyard, and then I built the wood planters along the fence line, and I planted those marigolds in there.
Right.
You know, at that particular time. That's a long time ago.
You're not in America anymore?
Say that again?
You're not in America anymore?
No, now I'm in Ghana. I have 5 times the land I had there, and I'm building. So I'm back, you know, building. You know, Okay. I already, you know, my 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house in the USA was already built when I obtained it, and it was on a much smaller plot. You know, it was paid for. You know, and you know, I had already established it. You know, so if I had stayed in the USA, all I have to do is sit down and be comfortable and just, you know, and try to find more comfort on the plantation. But you know, that's not what I chose to do. I chose to come to the continent, you know, and build, you know, for myself and for the for Africa. So you know, I'm doing my little part. You know, I'm not, you know, trying to pat myself on the back and brag that and say that everybody should do things my way, because there's plenty of Black Americans that are on the continent right now, you know, doing tremendous things, and they're building that, you know, and they have been, you know, for years. It just hasn't been a critical mass of us, you know, here as yet, you know, but the Africa is getting stronger. You know, Ghana is probably the fastest growing economy in the world, you know, that I've heard, you know, and it's, I always see projects, you know, going on here. You know, they're building infrastructure. Yeah,
you know, I agree with you. I could say 99%, but the same thing is that, yeah, because like that's my point of, you know, like you said, getting into the conflict between each other or disagreeing, but hating each other while you disagree. No, we don't have to hate each other. We just disagree on certain things and we move on and see if these things can be solvable or if they can work, whoever ideas or can work better for us, then we move on with that, you know, and of course we can do voting with it. You know, that's if you have committees and it's like this, it's that type of level.
Brothers contend with brothers, but remain brothers.
Right. So, but
contend with men. We gonna contend. We gonna bang. We gonna bang. But at the end of the banging, you know, we got to come to some kind of consensus. And people that that make decisions that don't agree with each other, they normally have a vote consensus.
Right, and that's how you do. And it's like so, but the process moves on. That's the point. It doesn't stay stagnant, and then just sits there and nothing's done. Then the people are still complaining and being complacent with their situation. You know, but complaining and complacency is like a round of a circle. You keep going around a vicious circle. You know what I mean? And not getting anywhere. So instead of just getting in this vicious circle, like we were speaking about all these other nationalities and races of people, they get past that stuff. They're not always going to agree, and sometimes they argue, but they get past it and get stuff done. You know what I mean? So that's the point. I hear you on that, and you know, hey, you know, hopefully we'll get past all of the issues that we have and work with those who want to work. You know, and that's just what we're trying to do. Like you said, Africa is growing. There's some people who are waking up here as well in the States. Like Bomani says, he tries to get to those on the level where they understand, and some of these youngsters and their generation of this thug stuff and gangster lean stuff, and all that, you got to reach who you can reach. And then you've got my man that was speaking about what he's trying to establish in his Wisconsin. He said Wisconsin. Can't remember. But he's talking about getting something done there, getting some land. If you are able to do it, then do it, but continue to make that pipeline, like Bomani and Kala's talking about. Let's work together. Let's get it done. That's what I'm thinking.
The
thug, you know, on the street corner in the USA is not even going to come think about coming to Africa. Africa is not, you know, where they want to be. You know, so that's not even a problem here. It's a problem in the USA.
Hey,
navigate. Fuck all these other people, so you shut your mouth.
Hey, Tabula, if you can just repeat what you were saying, navigate this, because both of you was talking at the same time. Tabula, go ahead and repeat what you were saying.
No, he good. He good.
Okay, I would like to navigate. Would you take some of these thugs on to your land in Ghana?
No, you know, and I don't have to worry about them coming, you know, and not in any kind of significant number. And if they did show up, I'm not the one that's going to deal with them. This is a whole nation here of black men and women. And, you know, there's a government here. And that's the last thing you want to do is end up in Ghana jail. It ain't as nice as the jail in the USA. You know?
Yeah, I heard something that happened in Sierra Leone. There's a brother who came from California, used to be an ex-rapper. His name is JT. He has a YouTube channel as well. He does a lot of talk about it, what he's doing over there in Sierra Leone. And some guy that was with him that came through.
Faso. That was Burkina Faso. Now, one of his boys.
Oh, Burkina Faso. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah,
and the guy that came over there, he was bugging out, and he got dealt with. I mean, I feel sorry for it, but hey, you got to be right. You got to get yourself right. You got to get your head right before you can go out there. You're not right, and you know, like I got brothers. My little brothers, they hot-tempered ex-thugs, but they got themselves together now. But they still, when it comes time to pop off, they pop off out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And I said, you can't always do that. I don't see them traveling into places where you have to have more patience. Like I've lived in Egypt. I said, my little brothers ain't gonna last here. They ain't gonna come in and be here for 2 days without getting into a fight. Because these guys, they'll test you. You know what I'm saying? Because they slow pace, and then when they get angry at you, they want to touch you. You know what I mean?
Where you live to live?
I lived in Medina Nasser over in Cairo. Like
right now.
Oh, now I'm back in the States, unfortunately for now. But gotta just be patient, keep on moving, getting that money, and it's time. You know what I mean?
Is anybody working on anything in America?
Yeah, I know. I even mentioned Bomani is working in America.
No, I'm just saying beside Bomani. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you know there's a brother named Farouk Hunter. There's a brother named
Korea.
Go ahead, Bomani. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, you know, people have their business in Korea, but as far as like a certain movements, someone has to explain that.
Well, I know a brother. His name is Farouk Hunter, and there's an organization called Freedom Nation, and they established buying land on like a wholesale in Georgia, Hancock County, over there between Savannah and up between Atlanta, of course, Georgia, and it's like in a more rural area. It's a small city of Spartan, but the land is bought. It's bought, and they wholesaled out the land as plots to, you know, prospective owners, of course, and eventually now all the area of the phase 1 that they were doing there is done. Everybody's bought the land. It's purchased. Now it's got to just be built. They are establishing committees like, you know, the community committee or even the committee that will deal with the municipalities of Spartan, you know, going and interacting with the city and dealing with the politicians there so they can be in the scene, in the offices, in the back offices, and trying to make sure they're doing that part in the political level, you know, to establish our rights as a community, you know what I mean, out there. But it's predominantly black area, you know what I mean? And this organization is B1, Black First. You know what I'm saying? You have different ideologies. You got Pan-African, you got ODAs, ADAs, you got FBA, you got Muslims, Nation of Islam, you know, Sunni Muslims like myself, you know, all different types, Christians, Hebrew Israelites, all together in one, working to build that community up.
If you guys are building a community that's safe and people doing your thing, I'm all for it. Bonnie and I are all for it. It's something positive, and you guys are creating wealth by building land ownership. I'm all for it.
Yeah,
You know?
Black corporate
And to
economics.
finish real quick, they also have made an extension of a pipeline into Kazakhstan, because the brother's Muslim, so he went into Kazakhstan. But check his reason is because in that area between China is a borderline between China and Kazakhstan, and that was one of the first links to the what is it called, the Silk Road in trade. African ancient traders traveled that path. The Asians traveled that path. The Arabs traveled that path, and then eventually the Europeans with the story of what is his name? The guy, the explorer, famous explorer. Some of the stories inconsistent. Marco Polo. Marco Polo.
The Marco Polo guy.
Right. So they established this was a pipeline. This was a pipeline for business. Early English business. You know what I mean? The Silk Road. So he said, listen, we got to get there before the Europeans try to get back at Paneer and the other people who left it and just left it alone, because Silk Road kind of died out, war through war, and the different maneuvers of the land, and so
it was actually the European maritime trade killed the Silk Road. That's why they try to rebuild again. Maritime trade replaced the Silk Road. And people don't realize the terminal, the largest area of the Silk Road was West Africa. West Africa was where all the goods from the Silk Road ended in West Africa and distributed to Europe. So when they started navigating around West Africa began to collapse.
Yes, correct.
Fortunately,
but the European cut that off. They cut our path off because they knew that was going to help to disable the power in Africa. They knew that. Because you had the Mali empire, you had all these empires that were using that.
Brother Tali, let me ask you a question, right? Now, this is what I'm talking about with these Negro-Europeans that try to mimic European history, right? I said we had the Mali Empire. We didn't need to explore like ships around the world. The Mali Empire basically was so powerful that all the goods across the Trans-Sahara, because Europe was so dangerous, the Mediterranean was so dangerous because of pirates and everything, all the goods from Asia had to pass through West Africa before it went to Morocco and Europe.
Correct.
And so what do we need to be explorers for? And we had everything in Africa, man. We ruled the world through Africa. Now, the same thing we could be doing now through air trade and everything like that. And same reason why they built the Suez Canal, so avoid going to Africa, around Africa, so to avoid Africa. So basically, they're trying to cut the whole continent off, with the Suez Canal, they go right to the Mediterranean, to Asia. Everything's about Europe getting to Asia. Africa was always in the way. When Vasco da Gama sailed around the Cape of Good Hope, right, into the Indian Ocean, they said, "Oh, we found the path to Asia." So the bottom line, we know in history, you understand how to approach this. Now, us building in Africa, the black people in North America, returning to Africa, will probably be one of the most powerful forces that ever hit the earth. It was power. The black people in America with endless, infinite resources and whatnot, and knowledge and everything, returning to virgin Africa and whatnot would be like impregnation. It's just common sense. So those people think they're gonna stop us. It's inevitable. This is inevitable. They can try all they want.
Yeah, and he also is establishing through phases of land occupancy and trying to gain some land by the way that they have been doing it and able to do it, because you have certain dynamics in the countries and you have the political positions and infrastructure, so you got to go along with that. You just can't go in that country and say, hey, we want this land. You got to go through the processes. So they tried Morocco because they knew Morocco was a connection to Europe, but they said that was going to be a little difficult. So then they thought about Djibouti, because Djibouti is real, it's moving, it's growing in that sense. And then now
I got one for try Angola. Angola got plenty of land.
Angola too, yeah. So they're looking at different parts of Africa to reconnect it. You understand? But they knew they had to
can you bring these guys over to the BAO website? The BAO website.
I'm gonna inform him. I'm gonna try to message him and let him know what you brothers are doing, and maybe
go to our website, download our app and whatnot, and get in and whatnot.
I got the website. Yeah.
Right. Get the shit cooking.
That's it.
Yes, I need this new
I
blood, man.
appreciate you, brothers, man. I gotta get going. I'm on my
All right,
way
brother
back.
Tyler. Always a pleasure, brother. Always a
Yeah,
pleasure.
appreciate it. I'll try to get with y'all again when I see y'all pop up in the notification.
We're probably on Saturday night. I ain't got nothing planned for Saturday night, man. You know, I ain't got a hermit. We'll probably be there Saturday night.
Yeah, have a good night. Good morning.
We're going to the club.
Nah, hey, yo, man, my boy told me a story last night. Let me tell you the story. He told me a story, man, about one of his older homies. Right, this was years ago, 2013, Virginia Beach, was murdered. Right, and he said because a young girl set him up. I ain't got no use for these young girls out here and whatnot. He said, "Tell them don't do it, man. Don't do it." The girls set him up for robbery. You know, these young girls out here and whatnot. They said they always say they prey on men. They said, "Oh, I want an older man. And I want to be a sugar baby." They're really setting you up. They got niggas behind the scene thinking we're just a bunch of old horny motherfuckers when they setting niggas up. So be careful out there. You know, that's what I warn you. You know, if I spend my Saturday nights with Brother Bomani here, you know, do building, you know.
Yeah, you know me, I'm here working. I got things to do.
I'm working a building. You know.
No see me, no club. I know, you know. Yeah, back in the days in Atlanta, Georgia, maybe, you know what I mean? But, you know, you got to grow up.
Oh, I used to be a club man back in Virginia Beach.
Oh, yeah,
Virginia Beach used to be the club capital of the world, man.
I remember that. I remember back in them days. I remember back in
Virginia. Yeah, Picasso's, remember that? Yeah, this is a spot.
Hey, brother, you're bringing back fond memories, man. You know, making me want to go back to, you know, maybe want to go back in the time.
Yeah, man. I remember last time I went to last time I went to Picasso, I was like 30, 31, and I had this older badass Red Bull lady. She was like 43. I met her online dating. She took me there one night. She bought all the drinks and whatnot, and I was like, damn, man. It was like it was a hood ass. I was like, she was like so sophisticated. She worked in the aerospace or whatever. Took me there, man. I had a ball, man. I never forget. I was the last one with the Picassos. You know?
Yeah, brother, I was there in them young age from 19, 20, 21, 22. Back then, you know what I'm saying? Yo, you got stories to tell. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
We got anyway. Let's see what Navigate Freely has to say. You know, because you don't know about what we're talking about, man.
Well, I'm sorry.
I
got the sun is up now here. It's like 6:30 in the morning. And one of my carpenters, your woodmasters, he called, you know, and so I had to get off and let him know that he's to come this afternoon to do some work on the house that I'm building. So that what knocked me off. When someone calls the phone, then the volume goes off, so I have to go out and come back in.
Yeah, we know
so
that,
I don't know what you guys were saying, but
you got
we're saying
connection.
But
we're
I'm
gonna get some real infrastructure going.
How much you spending on that house?
Well, a whole lot less than I would in the USA. I'm building right now the foundation has 4 bedrooms, and 3 bathrooms and a giant open bay hall. And I'm gonna build it, and I'm gonna put wooden lofts all around it. So that's gonna
it's not a mud hut. So it's not a mud hut with a solar panel.
Well, of course not. I live in my shop. I live in my shop while my primary house is being built.
And
I have a half an acre of land.
So you're like doing like the Bag family. You doing like the Bag family.
I can show,
right?
But I can't turn the camera on and show, but I'm not because I don't want to.
all this time, I thought that fence was your fence, man. Because that's a fence like I got in my backyard, man.
Well, that wooden fence that's on my avatar, that's in the USA. That's not here.
Hey,
I got one like that. So y'all got fences like that over there?
Why can't you put a picture up? Not a fence in Atlanta. Fence on center block.
Well, right now, I'm sitting in my underwear. Just woke up, and I don't want to go outside.
Oh my God, we don't want to.
No, we don't want to see that.
We're saying
so
get the
I don't
avatar up yourself.
One of these days, I'll show it to you. But I have had my cam on talking to you.
Navigate. Why don't you join the BA? Hey, Navigate. Why don't you join the BAO social network, right? And upload some pictures to the site, the website.
All you gotta do is turn your camera toward where you walk it, and we will never see you. Just turn your camera, the front camera toward everything you walk in, and we won't never know where you was at.
Well,
We
right
don't
now,
never
okay,
know.
okay. Well, I can do that. No problem. I can turn the
Thank you.
damn
Your
camera
boy,
if
your
you guys
brothers want to say.
so insist. No, you see my face, right?
We need inspiration. We
But you
want
know, all you're gonna see is a
inspiration.
construction zone.
We
Out the
want
window. Out the
inspiration to
window, you see
move.
a construction zone.
We want
You see,
inspiration to
I
move
got
out.
a wall, a concrete wall.
You're like you're in
around
jail,
my
That's
man.
beautiful.
half an
It's like
acre.
a prison. You sure you're not in jail?
It's only 4 feet tall, so
Oh
I
my
can see
God.
over it. It's not a
And I-
prison.
Oh my
That's
God.
And I got
nice.
a three car carport is going on up right there. And it's
Look
gonna
at
have a top
Navigate,
on it
man.
where you can go up there and sit on the
You
patio
go,
up there.
oh, look at Navigate. That's yours?
Yes.
Where you at right
And
now? What
the house is
building you
built
in
with
right now?
hydroform. It's being built with
he's in
hydroform
Beirut.
interlocking bricks.
He's in
What
Beirut,
building are you in
Lebanon.
right now?
He's in Beirut, Lebanon.
What did you say?
What
In
building are
Beirut,
you in right
you're in
now?
Beirut, Lebanon.
Well, right now
That-
I'm living in my shop. My shop
Okay.
is 30 by 20. It has no walls. It has all windows. You know, so I don't even need a fan or air condition. You know, I'm living in my shop, which is 30 by 40. It's huge. You know,
That's beautiful.
and, until my house is finished. So it's kind of difficult. It's not that
Hey.
bad.
Hey,
Some
turn the
people's
camera
house
back
is
on.
smaller than me.
Navigate, come on, turn the camera back on. We're checking out the
Well,
house.
you did a lot.
I know you were checking it out.
We're trying to
I've
see
shown
what
enough.
we trying
I've shown enough. I'll show
you
it
gotta
at my
encourage
convenience
people.
some other time.
Now,
Look
Kala,
at you. You're gonna be on there all the time.
Now, Kala, does
I'll
that
probably
encourage
be.
you?
I like talking to Kala, so I'll be back. I'm sure.
Hey, Kala, does that encourage you to move to Ghana and live by Navigate?
No, but it's inspiring, man. I was there some thugs over there.
Where
They
you at,
get free
Kala?
land. I'm in Virginia.
No, thugs ain't
Oh,
coming
you
over
in
here.
Virginia?
Thugs will
I'm in
not even come.
Arkansas.
Thugs,
You're in
What you
Arkansas,
thugs
okay.
mind
doing
don't
in
even work
Arkansas?
this
What
way.
you got? You know anybody in Arkansas, Kala?
I had, well, I'll tell you about Arkansas story. There was a guy that I was cool with, what's it called, West Memphis, right? And he was down with the BAO years ago. This nigga went crazy. And he was telling me that he was a deputy sheriff, wherever. He said he's gonna go and shoot the council up there, said they're racist. Well, I said, dude, man. He said, man, we could take West Memphis over and all. This nigga was radicalized, man. This guy was crazy. You know, and I don't know what's going on West Memphis. You heard West Memphis, right?
Yes.
West Memphis. Okay. I don't know what's going on up there, but he was like, yo, it's a race war about brewing and whatnot. This was back like 10 years ago. And he was like, oh, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. And I was telling him, I said, wouldn't it be easy to build a nation in Africa? Nah, we could take this and make this our own secede from the state of Arkansas and all this stuff like this, man. He was like, this dude was radicalized like crazy, man. I was like, damn, what's going on in Arkansas? Y'all some seceding motherfuckers, man, you know?
No, it's that the Elaine massacre is deeper than even,
I heard
Black
about that.
Wall Street. The Elaine massacre is here in Arkansas.
Yeah, I remember that.
They're one of the
1919.
most powerful ones, So I'm just saying, anybody here, any movements, anything happening in the South, you got anything going on, you all know anybody, just let me know where they at. Like if you know any events, anything close to Arkansas, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
Well, join the BAO, or we have an Arkansas chapter.
What I would love is Africa and people connected would set up schools for language so we can learn to communicate and open our hearts to learn to communicate. If they set up schools, if we could get loans from the federal government, you could get subsidized, things from the federal government to set up schools, that would help them and help us, first of all, go to the school, learn the language, and that would help get rid of the FBA tether energy. So y'all love FBA and that ADOS, and we gonna do it. I threw that out there. Thank you.
Well, that's good. That's encouraging. I don't like division between black people.
But that's what I'm saying. If they set up schools for learning the language to communicate, that would help open, like I say, open our hearts, open black people's hearts to see something different. If they can learn to speak, that does a lot. When you actually do things that have to do with us personally, that's why I'm always asking you all, do you all have something you all are doing? Do you all have a personal, like something?
We have a lot of people that does that and everything like that. Join the social network. There's people that do stuff like that all over the country.
That's for them
and everything.
individually.
Individual stuff like this, but
That's not a particular project.
There's
But
lots
what
of
you have to do-
Africans in the USA. There's from the continent, that can teach language. I aced my Zulu class at the university when I went to college.
That's
and
what I'm
never went to
saying.
South Africa. And in grammar school, I did study Swahili.
Oh my God! You're patting yourself on the back. You're patting yourself on the back now.
Well, I'm just we're talking about language, and now I'm trying to learn my Fanti. What I tell the Ghanaians here, that I'm training to be a Ghanaian. And I practice my Fanti with them every opportunity I can.
What is the one language you learn you could go to different places? What's the base language?
English.
You learn in Africa?
English.
English is a base language here in Ghana. That's one of the reasons I chose to come here.
Angola speak Portuguese, but they want to switch to English.
Okay, if you were going
you can teach English in
to learn a language, okay, English is ruling Africa. What language? Swahili,
Swahili is a lingua franca in East Africa. It's a main language for a group of nations in that particular area of the country.
Also, Swahili is not really indigenous to Africa. It's mostly Arabic and different some Bantu language. Swahili was mostly by the Swahili Muslim traders on the coast, and a lot of people adopted it.
Okay, so what's the base language you can learn? What is not English that you can learn? You go toward the bush, you can communicate.
In East Africa,
Nigeria has over 2,000 languages.
Yes, in West Africa, that's a difficult question.
Okay, if you say Nigeria have 2,000 languages, something about those
I know about at least four
those 2,000 languages.
Here in Ghana.
Something about
they all speak English. They all speak English.
Work.
They speak English. They know English.
There has to be a foundation when you speak in a language. You have to be able to, through 500 languages, say something that exists through 500 languages. They might have,
or just everybody speaking English, but they do.
They have 2,000 names, but how do you have 2,000 languages without 2,000 different names?
Well, you do. I first learned Ga here.
A lot of languages aren't written necessarily written. They're known by local area languages. You step over 20 miles, they're speaking something else because it's not written. It's not Europeans centralize their language system.
They're written.
Yeah,
okay. So if you're not
having what we call, they have
a person.
dictionary.
I say Toyotan, and then they will say Jejoba. If I see a Fanti person, I would say Yamana. I will say a pome, and then they will say Yamanado. And tree, tree is similar to Fanti and Ga. Ga is Toyotan, Yejoba. The Swahili, they say Jambo. Jambo.
What does that mean?
Good job,
Jambo
Navigate.
is how you say hello in Swahili.
Good job, Navigate. I like that. I like
this. What does that mean?
Toyotan is this, how are you? And they say, Yejoba. That's Ga. That's Ga in Ghana.
Yejoba mean what?
Yejoba, I'm fine. And then when they get ready to go someplace, they say Yanoba. In the Ba is Yanoba is go and come. And when you say go and come in Fanti, you will say Kabla. And then they will greet you back and say Kaba I. So you just have to learn, some language, and I'm trying. I'm a long ways off where I need to be, but in Zulu, Zulu is if I can remember my Zulu, that's I can't remember my Zulu right now because I took that in college years ago.
Oh Shaka, you can't remember. You can't remember Shaka. You can't remember now.
Yeah, I got it now. When you greet somebody in Zulu, you say Sawubona, and then they say Yejo Sawubona. Say Unjani,
Yeah, boy.
But Zulu sounds like music, just like God. It sounds like music.
Dabazi. What is that?
All right, fellas, Jughead want to chime in. Go ahead, Jughead.
Yeah, Navigate, you did a good job, Navigate. We're proud of you, Navigate. We're proud of you. I mean, you did a good job.
I'm trying. I'm just
you're a
trying.
serious guy, man. At least you put your money where your mouth is. You're a serious guy, man.
Hey, Kala, I want to let you know, Kala, you're wrong about Navigate, man. Navigate is like he's like an inspiration for a whole new generation.
Navigate serious, man. Navigate serious.
Yeah.
Navigate's not Van der Holyfield. He's the real deal, man. I'll call you Van der Holyfield. Yeah, and
Madasi.
Yeah. You and Black Head are gonna hook up. You and Black Head are gonna hook up, man. I know it. You know,
my God.
Hey, what do you say? Black Head and Navigate. Let's do that.
Are you a don? Are you a don? That's how you say thank you in Ghana. You know, because when I came to Ghana, I wanted to say hello, thank you, goodbye, all the basic stuff. So I learned how to say thank you to people, and God say, are you a don? Here where I'm at, right in Central Africa, I say Madasi. That's tree, and and they understand that one. That's the thing.
Evander Freely, that's Queen Evander. You're the real deal, man. Yeah, and
I'm trying. I am here.
Exactly, you're here. That's why you're the real deal.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, you can Kala, don't do it, man. Give credit.
I mean, all right, but he says some stuff over the time, man. It concerns me,
Yeah, but at least he's
I'm
there.
I'm gonna do it again, Mr. Kala. I'm gonna say some stuff over the time that will concern you. But I will hope you give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, well, you say some stuff and navigate sometimes. I don't know, bro.
Don't dismiss me wholehandedly. I'm not gonna do that to you.
Yeah, Kala, he's there, man. Kala, he's there. I mean, we'll be there soon, hopefully, in the next year and the years to come, building as a collective. And we're doing it as an individual, but we build as a collective.
I've always been looking forward to Bomani's bus pulling up through here. Me and my friend, from the UK, Mr. Byron, he's a black person from the UK. We always, he said I know Bomani. I said, yeah, one of these days, we're gonna finish building and the Bomani's tour bus is gonna pull up right here. We're gonna have to be ready. So that means I got to be out of my shop and it's got to be ready, for business, so they can enjoy themselves,
Hopefully
in our
lifetime, bro.
You're real funny, Kala. Hey, I'm older than you, so I hope so too.
Evander, we're coming. Don't worry, Evander, we're coming. Don't worry, we're coming. Next year you'll see us. Evander Freely, man, the real deal. I'm telling you, man. We're proud of you, man. We're proud of you. Kala's just joking, man. He don't mean it. We're proud of you, man. We're proud of you.
Well, that's why I was laughing. It was real funny. He's a good comedian at times.
Look, guys,
that was nice.
I'm working tonight. Navigate Freely, Tabula, Kala, Bomani. Blessings up to go now because I'm working in 8 hours time. I've got to get 4 hours sleep. I might come on later.
I got to go up to. I got to get up in the morning.
We're gonna close right now. So anybody who have anything last minute to share, please share it. And we're gonna get set the tone to start closing out in the next few minutes.
Everyone
have a good night.
Jughead,
I'm starting my day.
Put your information in the chat.
Have a good night. I'm starting my day. The sun is up.
I'm saying like this. Everybody,
another beautiful day in Ghana. But
join
Bomani already
BAO.
know how beautiful the weather is in Ghana. It's always wonderful every day. It's amazing.
Jughead, put your link in the chat. Bomani and Kala put the information for new
already in there. It's
in the chat.
It's in there.
People. Somebody could have just got on. Somebody could have just got on. You don't ever know. Thank you. I appreciate you all.
All right, bro.
Madasi.
Hey, navigate freely. The language that you speak, sir. What is it? What is it called?
Madasi. That's called tree.
Okay, what if I'm in America, how do you start studying? What do you study to start, like Like, how are you doing? What's your name? Where do you go to find
Well,
that?
I would meet up with a Ghanaian, you know, and
There's
and find
there's
out which
no
language they speak.
books. There's no
Most
way you
Ghanaians
can go
speak Tree.
online.
Tree is the main ethnic language in Ghana. It's
Tree.
And Fanti. I live in the Fanti area, so most of the people around here speak Fanti, you know, and in Accra, I was living in a Ga community. They speak Ga, you know. So, but it's several different languages. It's like Nigeria has a lot of languages.
That's beautiful.
Nigeria's 500, not 2,000. Yeah, Nigeria's 500,
Yeah.
not 2,000.
Used to be there. They're small. They're shrinking.
Yeah.
The number of languages is shrinking.
Yeah.
It used to be 2,000.
I think that's a great goal, to learn to have a universal language in Africa. Bomani could do it.
Oh, he can't do it by himself. Anyway, yeah, we got to chip in. It's a group effort. It's a collective. White supremacy is a global effort. Our liberation will be the same. We can't go solo. Look at Bill Cosby. Look at the billionaire took him down. 51 line Mozilla women took him down, because he was by himself. Look at Oprah Winfrey. She went to France about 2 decades ago. I said, a young French wench. Insulted her in a I think she was asking, about 2002 she went to France in a high-class boutique. Somebody asked her, what are you doing here? Oprah was a billionairess being dissed by some young French wench. Why? Because she's on her own.
But that's the blessing. That's a blessing because they see that they see us the same every day, and it's us that have to wheel back and just deal with it. We shouldn't seek their adulation or their approval. Once we stop seeking their approval, they die. We have to let them die. We have to will ourselves to be great and let them die, and they'll be asking for it.
Who's they? You mean who's they? You mean it was
just the people? Any person, like what she met, a French person. It's Caucasian versus it's original versus this new creation, this new person that's not like us in blood, in genetics, nothing. They're not like us. No matter what they try to call them, they're not like us. They have a hatred. They're showing online that they have a hatred for our genetics because they don't have it. And we have to exalt ourselves beyond that. They hate it.
It's Afrophobia. Well, what's that? It's Afrophobia. Wow. Tabula. It's Afrophobia and melanin envy. That's what it is, Tabula. Melanin envy and Afrophobia. That's what it is.
What part of the planet you stay in? London?
Yeah, UK, London, the capital. Very expensive.
What is it? What is it like out there?
Oh, I mean the people. I mean the environment. You mean, or what do you mean the environment?
The environment before and after the Queen.
Well, I don't care about the Queen, but I mean, look,
have you seen anybody? Have you seen people try to make a big issue? The transformation just smooth, or what is it? Like, what do you see?
It's smooth, Tabula, because, like I said, I mean, she was old, and when Prince Philip died last year, we knew she wouldn't be far along because that was when they were close, they were soulmates. When one spouse dies, that lived together for a decade, it was 7 decades they were married. Then that one's not. Well, no, it's almost 6 decades they were married. So when one spouse dies that long, one was soon after. And that's common trait among people that have been married for a long time. Prince Philip died last April 2021. So she wasn't. It was inevitable that she was going to die soon. But yeah, I mean, look, she was popular here, but she's gone now. We've got a king now. It's not my king, but they have a king now, King Charles III. It'll be coronated next September. So yeah, I mean, but the atmosphere.
But just think, you are a consort. He never got to be seen as a king while he was alive. He never got to be seen as a king.
Correct.
While he was alive, and she went against the crown to marry him. She went against her family's wishes to marry him, and he never got to be a king while he was alive. Yeah, he had to do like the Masonic Scottish Rite thing to be a king.
Yeah.
Well, one of these days, Kala is going to come to Ghana, and he's going to do something significant, and they're going to install him and
Jughead,
make
did
him.
you hear that?
They're going to make him a king. Because they're doing it all the time for Black Americans that's come and help build the infrastructure, help move the nation forward. They make them kings.
Well,
I was talking
They
to
have a whole big
Jughead. Did
ceremony.
you understand me, Jughead?
You know,
Yes, I
give
heard
them
you.
a new royal name, and then you have to call them Nana.
Nana Kala, how you doing?
Nana.
Oh, he ain't even on.
Yeah.
He probably back
Yeah.
there doing something.
Yeah.
No, I was
Yeah, well,
talking
listen,
to Jughead
navigate
because
process.
I'm trying to see him think about you're a male and your wife is the Queen of England and you don't never get to be treated like you're a king and you had to be a consort. You had to be a side piece husband. But she respected you more than her family. What could that have been like? But at the same time, he was at the highest Scottish rank. So he knew what it was like to be a ruler, but he had to do his rulership in secret. He couldn't do it in the open. He could never say in the open he's greater than his wife, or he would die. What could that have been like?
Well, I mean,
Wow.
But Sabula, we don't care. I mean, look. I mean,
No, I'm not saying you do. I'm not saying you live there. So I'm just the imagination of the power of the crown.
Well, we say
And
we don't care about them people, man.
his family will not die with the same power.
The hell with them people.
His family will not die with the same power as her son. I was just looking at the dichotomy of it, that he's a male and he never got to be treated better than his own female.
And he's rotten. He's a rotten racist dude too. You know stuff he said. You know. I don't really care.
We're wasting brain cells on this. We're wasting brain cells on this.
Yeah, we're wasting brain cells on that. I agree.
Is it worth it, Sabula? Let's build Africa. Let's build our black Singapores, our black Qatars, our black space program. That's what we need to concentrate on. Sabula. Forget Philip.
But although Bomani is doing a wonderful job with the tour thing and in his other business, about setting up websites and all that kind of stuff, all that's is all needed. NGOs, all those is necessary functions and that we need. And but Bomani is not the only one out here doing the same thing. But here in Ghana, there's it's entrepreneurs, it's open competition, right next door to each other, right across the road. Everybody is selling the same thing, right around each other. It's cutthroat competition because it's a wide open competition. So, but Ghana is big enough where there's enough room for plenty of Bomanis to be here. We need more Bomanis. Bringing people, from the diaspora, to the continent, and touring, and we need more of it.
Fuck it.
And
well, yes, navigate. That's what I'm talking about, brother. We got to make this thing happen. So, family, any last words before we close? We are getting up there in hours, and
Yeah, I would say that join the BAO social network, connect with people that's on the ground and stuff like that to support this platform. Like, share, subscribe, and everything. And like I said, we're gonna keep pushing on to receive victory. Anyway, brothers, I'll talk to y'all later. It was a good conversation. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Blessings, Kala. Blessings, navigate.
All right, brother.
Blessings.
Good night.
Peace.
Family, final words as we are.
Well,
Great
you had on, as the guy would say, thank you very much, and we'll communicate some other day.
Assalamu alaikum. May Allah bless you all.
Respect Sabula. Respect him, navigates, respect him, Bomani. Take care, and we'll talk soon. Maybe a Saturday, we'll talk soon. I need to get some sleep. I'm working in 5 hours' time. I'm gonna pay for these super chats.
Inyo, that means okay in Fanti, so we use that word a lot. Inyo. Okay.
Inyo.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Bomani.
Yes, yes, family. Appreciate your family. And the journey continues.